Mean? Asked Dr. Sunday. Yeah, is there something wrong with this bracelet? Jang Yunha also asked. Stared at the bracelet quietly without saying anything. We just discovered that there is something wrong with this bracelet. Wanwan just smelled it and immediately felt dizzy and nauseous. But Linger and I didn't have this reaction after smelling it. On the contrary, we also asked someone in Jiaxing Pavilion to try it, and the reaction was similar to Wanwan's, feeling dizzy and nauseous. So we suspect that the poison in the old master is related to this bracelet, but the person who did it was very concealed. It should be a chronic poison. After long-term contact, he was slowly corroded by the poison. Su Mu expressed his doubts. As soon as he finished speaking, Zhang Yu stood up and prepared to leave. I'm going to go see Wanwan. Hearing that she was not feeling well, Zhang Yu could no longer sit still and wanted to check on her safety. Brother Yu, please be patient. Wanwan is fine. I've checked on her. She's just feeling a little unwell temporarily and will be fine soon. Sun Linger explained to prevent him from worrying unnecessarily. Zhang Yu then stopped. Come back first and discuss it properly. Don't alert the enemy. Zhang Yunhe stood up, pulled him back, and forced him to sit down. Su Mu then repeated his inner doubts and plans. Jiang Yunhe was the first to pick up the bracelet and smell it, but there was no reaction. Dr. Sun also had no reaction. Finally, it was Jiang Yu's turn, but he didn't react at all after hearing it. That's strange. If Su Wan had just gone up the mountain not long ago, then Jiang Yu had just returned not long ago, which means that the inducement of the poison must be in the old master's room. But what exactly is it? The bracelet had always been worn by the old sect leader, so although he was poisoned, the others were fine. Dr. Sun speculated that this situation should be related to air transmission. The inducer of the poison can be transmitted through the air. The old master must have stayed in a certain environment for a long time to be slowly poisoned. Anyone who comes into close contact with the bracelet will only be poisoned under a certain specific inducer. All I can say is that the person who poisoned the poison and the person who developed the poison are too scary. The combination of the two can cause people to die without knowing it, and there is no reason to be found. This also explains why Dr. Sun suspected that it was poisoning but found it difficult to come to a conclusion. This poison is too strange. I have never heard of it before. Even if we confirm that it is poisoning, where can we find the antidote? Unless we find out who poisoned this, there is no antidote. Dr. Sun sighed. Even if it was confirmed that it was poisoning, what was the use? I'm afraid it's too late. The old master doesn't have much time left. Jiang Yu listened to the whole thing without any expression on his face, but the coldness around him could not be ignored. Unconsciously, the porcelain cup in his hand had shattered into powder. Yu Wushang, it must be him. I will go to him and ask for the antidote now. After Jiang Yu finished speaking, he was about to stand up again, ready to ask Yu Wushang for the antidote. If he didn't give it to him, he would kill him. Jiang Yunhe sensed the murderous intent in him and quickly stopped him, asking him to calm down. Jiang Yu, you have no evidence. How can you prove that he did it? If not him, who else could it be? Doesn't he just want Fengyue Villa? I'll give it to him. I just want my grandfather to be alive. Jiang Yu didn't care about fame and fortune at all. He just wanted it because his grandfather wanted to give it to him. If the price of all this was to let his grandfather die in pain, then he would rather not have it. He was a little irrational now, and Jiang Yunhe was afraid that he would act impulsively and end up losing more than he gained, so he held down his shoulders with all his strength and maintained a stalemate with him. Jiang Yu struggled several times. The wound opened again, but he seemed not to feel any pain. Calm down, Jiang Yu. If he's not stupid, he wouldn't give you the antidote even if he had it. The main thing is that the old man has gotten better, and he will still be on your side. So why should he believe you? What is the point of him going through so much trouble to do all this? Is it all in vain? If he gives you the antidote, it means he indirectly admitted that he murdered the old sect leader. The elders who originally supported him will no longer support him, and may even turn around and kill him. You don't have any evidence, so what's the point of going to him rashly? Besides, you are still injured now, so you are no match for him at all. Am I just going to watch my grandfather die without any chance of recovery? Jiang Yu closed his eyes and gritted his teeth. At this moment, His whole body revealed a sense of powerlessness and confusion. Indeed, Yu Wushang has done a very good job of putting on a good show over the years. In the sect, he is known as a filial, respectful, and amiable person. Moreover, he is capable, experienced, and knows how to behave in daily life, so most of the elders in the sect are on good terms with him, support him, and trust him. They think that he is the heir who can lead Fengyue Villa, rather than Jiang Yu, the young and frivolous boy. Most of them were dissatisfied with Jiang Yu and felt that the old sect leader was just biased. Yu Wushang denies it. You can't do anything to him. And if you take action against him, I'm afraid the elders in the sect will complain again. Unless there is evidence to prove it, there is no way to do anything to Yu Wushang. Let's try a few more people before we draw a conclusion. It would be best if we find the so-called trigger to prevent the old master's condition from getting worse. As for the sandalwood bracelet, don't return it to Miss Su for now. Dr. Sun now really wants to know what this poison is. This is a big challenge for him. Jiang Yu's arm split open and blood flowed down his arm and dripped onto the ground. 1 drop, 2 drops, 3 drops. Brother Yu, has your wound opened again? Sun Linger was the first to see it, and she covered her mouth and exclaimed in surprise. Jiang Yu raised his hand. His slender fingers were covered with blood. Yu, go and take care of him. Dr. Sun directly gave the job to his apprentice. He now needs to focus on checking the suspicious items in the room and inspect them one by one. Su Mu nodded and stood up, asking Jiang Yu to go to the next room to rebandage the broken wound. Jiang Yunhe had people come in and replace all the furniture and items in the old master's room with new ones, even the quilts, teacups, and carpets. Dr. Sun took the silver needle and measured everywhere he went, but he didn't find anything wrong. As for the bracelet, after soaking it in water and testing it again, the silver needle turned black after half an hour, proving that it was indeed a chronic poison. Normally, when testing for poison, the silver needle will turn black immediately, but this poison turned black half an hour later, achieving a confusing effect and making it easy to conceal the truth. The person who poisoned the poison was indeed scheming. Jiang Yu sighed. Su Mu helped him apply medicine and bandage again. The wounds on his chest and arms had already split open and were in a terrible state. Su Mu looked at the new and old wounds on his body and suddenly began to worry whether it was a good thing for his sister to have feelings for him. Should he persuade her to think carefully about whether she has a future with Jiang Yu? These days are filled with misery, fighting and killing, and there is not a single day of peace. If you continue to get hurt like this, there won't be a single piece of healthy skin on your body. What's more, you won't be able to rest even if you're injured. I don't know if this will shorten your lifespan. Jiang Yu expressed his confusion about Su Mu's sudden sarcastic remarks. But when he looked down at the wounds on his body, it seemed that he was not wrong. I'll pay attention to that next time. I think I should persuade Wanwan to think carefully about whether someone of your status is really a good match for her. Sometimes having too noble a status may not be a good thing. Su Mu complained expressionlessly while packing his medicine box. What seemed like a very ordinary sentence to him made Jiang Yu's heart skip a beat, and he panicked. Don't worry, second brother. Even if I die, I will never let her get hurt or suffer any injustice. Jiang Yu quickly expressed his opinion. He thought, you better stop trying to persuade her. She always listens to her brother. What if you really persuade her to rebel? Wouldn't he be left without a wife in the future? Yes, if you were gone, my sister would be the widow. If you left behind a child, she would have to raise him or her alone. I don't know who would be wronged. Su Mu's tongue is so sharp that it can kill people. Jiang Yu couldn't refute. I will try my best to protect her while keeping myself alive. Jiang Yu organized his words in his mind for a long time and finally uttered these words. Su Mu couldn't help but laugh, but what came out was a sneer, and he looked completely arrogant. Humph, I hope so. Love is something that cannot be changed by a few words from others. To be completely honest, as a brother, I just hope that she can live a peaceful and happy life. Su Mu thought that he had never done anything for Su Wan, and he even rarely provided her with basic companionship, but that didn't mean he didn't care about her. In the original novel, The Su family actually tried to open Su-won's heart at the beginning and wanted to get along well with her, but all they got was her sharp ridicule and yelling. She blamed them for hindering her happy life and pretended to say that it was for her own good. Over time, as disappointments accumulate, you become indifferent. And the things she did were the price she deserved to pay, because she was involved in a life. I know, I will. In Jong-yu's heart, Su-won is really important, which can be seen from many details. Jaixing Pavilion. Su-won was wandering around bored. She went to Jong-yu's bedroom, study, and the ground where he practiced martial arts, as if she wanted to see Jong-yu's former appearance through these places. She didn't dare to wander around Fonghua Villa, so she could only walk around here casually. She looked at the row of weapons placed at the door of the martial arts arena, all of which were halberds and spears, but she couldn't lift any of them because they were too heavy. Lu Yun and Lu Ying were watching from the side, and were both touched by their own girl. Jong-yu was so bored. There was nothing special in the Jaixing Pavilion. She could only find a place to sit down and think about the old master's poisoning. She wanted to recall the original plot and try to find some clues. She carefully reviewed the old master's condition. Her second brother said that he suspected it was chronic poisoning, but the cause of the poisoning could not be found, so it was impossible to determine what the poison was. Jong-yu said yes, the old sect master had been in poor health for a few years ago, and before that, he had always been in good health and had no illness. The old sect master was a martial artist with unparalleled martial art skills. Logically, a little illness or disaster would not destroy him like this. It was definitely poisoning. There was no other reason. Today, I met the frail old sect leader. Sister Linger said that he was only 60 years old, but looked like he was in his 80s and was very haggard. The disease strikes, the patient becomes unconscious and needs medication and acupuncture to fall asleep. Why does this scene sound so familiar? Su-won continued to think that from Guyu's perspective, the current plot is still in the early stage, but in the later stage, it involves power struggles and imperial power struggles. The reason why Morongsheng became the prince was because he saved the emperor. Morongsheng had been the crown prince for only 3 years before the emperor passed away, and he naturally became the emperor. But before that, although he had military achievements and his own gradually revealed talents, the emperor only paid more attention to him and had no intention of passing on the throne. Of everything was that the emperor valued the fifth prince more and more, which aroused the jealousy of the queen. Her legitimate third prince became increasingly overshadowed by the outstanding fifth prince and often made mistakes and was scolded by the emperor. The mother and son were worried that the emperor would choose the fifth prince as the crown prince, so they joined forces with the mother's family to find a rare poison and gave it to the emperor. The emperor was in good health at the beginning, but suddenly he began to suffer from many illnesses and his health deteriorated. In just 2 years, he was bedridden and could not even attend the morning court. At this time, Jong-yu, at the request of the male and female protagonists, invited Dr. Sun to personally treat the emperor. He was also helpless just like he is now, and could only rely on acupuncture and drugs to keep the emperor's spirits up. Finally, it was the second brother Su-mu who discovered the clue and found the problem from the jade ring that the emperor wore on his hand every day. So after several sleepless days and nights, the protagonists finally found the key to the problem. It turned out that the poison was colorless and odorless, and was smeared on the ring. If the poisoned person was in contact with it for more than 2 hours a day, he would be poisoned. At that time, he only needed to use a primer to stimulate the toxicity. Generally, princes, nobles, and dignitaries like to burn incense in their houses. Some incense can leave a fragrance on the body for a long time after being burned for a long time, and some incense can have the effect of calming the mind and helping sleep. However, the emperor does not like the ambergris that is specially provided for him, but only likes cold sandalwood. I understand. Su-won suddenly stood up excitedly and shouted these words to Lu Yun and Lu Ying. Girl, what do you know? Lu Ying looked at her blankly, expressing her confusion, and at the same time exchanged a glance with Lu Yun. Lu Yun also expressed his confusion, but the girl must have her own reasons. I know what caused the old master to be poisoned. Let us go to Fonghua Pavilion now. Su-won was in a hurry to go out, but when she came out, she didn't know which way to go and had to ask Luyan to lead the way. On the way, she felt that she was walking too slowly and almost jogged all the way to Fengyue Pavilion. Fengyue Pavilion is still looking for something wrong, but there is no sign. After treating the wound, Zhang returned to his grandfather's side and stayed with him. Su Mu and Sun Linger were talking about something at the door when they caught a glimpse of a figure running towards them from the corner of their eyes. Wan Wan? They both spoke almost at the same time, but Su Wan ignored them and pushed the door open, looking around for that darn Lung Tanxiang. Sure enough, no one suspected the incense, because the old master had used this incense all his life, without any problems. The old master must have sandalwood to help him sleep, so the whole house has been made brand new, except for this cold sandalwood. Jiang Yu and Jiang Yunhe heard the noise and looked towards the door at the same time, only to see Su Wan standing there panting. Sun Beidou was holding a silver needle in his hand and looked at her helplessly. "Girl, what's wrong with you? Why are you so anxious? Take away the cold sandalwood incense." This incense was the cause of the old master's poisoning. Su Wan shouted, pointing at the incense burner in the middle of the room from which a few wisps of smoke were rising. Su Mu and Sun Linger also walked in. After hearing what Su Wan said, they looked in the direction of her finger. Everyone seemed to be awakened by her words. Yes, the only thing they didn't think of was that there was something wrong with the cold sandalwood. They ignored the fact that this might be the hidden danger that had been lurking around the old master for a long time. Hiss. If you hadn't said it, I wouldn't have suspected it. Maybe it really is related to this cold sandalwood. Dr. Sun patted his head. People tend to ignore things that they have long been accustomed to. Jiang Yu extinguished the incense in the incense burner and moved the incense burner outside. Sun Beidou immediately took out a silver needle to test whether there were any poisonous ingredients in it. Dr. Sun, there's no need to look at it. There's nothing wrong with this incense. It's just the primer that triggers the poison on the sandalwood bracelet. That kind of poison must be successfully planted with cold sandalwood as the primer. Just contacting the mother poison will not endanger a person's life. It's just that the body will gradually deteriorate, the resistance will be lowered, and it will be easy to catch a cold, thus shortening the lifespan. However, once combined with this cold sandalwood, from poisoning to death, depending on the strength of the poisoned person's physique, it will take as short as 2 years, or as long as 4 or 5 years. The old master belongs to the latter. If I remember correctly, this poison is a chronic poison called Ling Qi, and its essence is just like its name. It will wear away your will and vitality bit by bit, just like a prisoner who is executed by Ling Qi, dying in a long torture. This is what Su Wan said based on the explanation in the original text. Because the name of the poison is special, she remembers it quite clearly. Everyone listened to her explanation, thought about it carefully, and connected it with the changes that the old master had undergone in recent years. It was indeed as she said, his health was getting worse and worse, and in just 4 or 5 years he had reached the point of being at the end of his rope. But why does Su Wan know all this? Su Mu frowned and looked at his sister. Su Wan felt his slightly inquiring eyes and lowered her head guiltily. This matter was extremely urgent and concerned human lives, so she had no time to plan how to find excuses for herself. After all, how could a young girl like her, who couldn't even recognize basic herbs, know about this poison that even Dr. Sun didn't know about? Jiang Yu was also very surprised. How could his Wanwan know so much? However, he would not ask her or question her. Seeing that she was still breathing hard, Jiang Yu walked over, grabbed her hand, and led her into the room. "My hands are a little cold, come in to warm yourself up, don't stand in the wind." Sun Linger and Jiang Yunhe also realized it belatedly. Why did Su Wan know it so clearly? Su Wan followed Jiang Yu in, and the others followed in too. Only Dr. Sun was still squatting beside the incense burner, puzzled. Ling Qi? I seem to have heard this name somewhere before. As soon as Dr. Sun opened his mouth, everyone's attention was instantly shifted to him. "Dr. Sun, have you heard of this poison?" Jiang Yu asked him expectantly. "I seem to have heard of this name, but I'm old now, and this memory seems to be from a long, long time ago. I just can't remember it for a moment, but I just feel familiar with it for some reason." Dr. Sun kept patting his head, but he couldn't remember where he had heard it. But he changed his mind and walked towards Su-won, asking anxiously, "Girl, how did you know about this poison, and why do you know its nature? Since you know that this poison is called Ling-chi, do you know anything about the antidote?" Instead of obsessing over where he had heard about the poison Ling-chi, it would be better to be realistic and ask Su-won directly. She knew more than the rest of them, who were completely in the dark. Su-won's heart skipped a beat. She must not let down her disguise as someone who traveled through a book. But what kind of reason should she come up with to be more convincing? Su-won hesitated for a long time and didn't know how to answer the question of how he knew about this poison. In the end, it was Jong-yu who came to her rescue. "It's okay, Won-won. I believe you. It doesn't matter how you know. Just tell me what you know.
If you don't want to say it, don't say it.
If you can save my grandfather's life, you will be the greatest benefactor of Fongyue Villa. Even if you don't know, you don't have to feel burdened. No one will blame you, okay?" Jong-yu silently held her hand tightly, and the tone of his voice was so gentle that it was sickening. It could be said that the people present had never seen him like this before. Love is such a great thing that it can discover the other side of a person. "That's right, girl. You can say whatever you want to say, and don't say anything you don't want to say." Dr. Sun also felt that his recklessness had frightened people and quickly agreed with Jiangyu's words. To be honest, with Jiangyu's words and comfort, Su-won felt less panicked and calmed down. She began to recall how they detoxified the emperor in the original book. "I don't know the specific solution. In my opinion, if you want to save the old master's life, you can feed him heart blood every day and take medicine to make up for the body's deficiency and blood deficiency. This will effectively improve the old master's pain at this time. It should be more effective than acupuncture. At least he won't be unconscious after waking up. But as for the real solution to this Ling-chi, you may go and ask a man named Yi Qinggu." Su-won remembered that in the original book, this method was thought up by the second brother, who stayed awake for half a month and almost died of sudden death. After this method was effectively improved by the emperor, the second brother finally fainted due to exhaustion and slept for a whole day and night. This can't be considered her credit for snatching the second brother, right? She had no choice, after all. Human life was at stake. That was Jiangyu's most beloved grandfather. She just wanted to save him. If she knew nothing about it because she was afraid of being suspected, wouldn't that be too selfish? Jiangyu said that no matter how she knew, he believed her and would not ask her anything. This sentence was enough.
Ye Vinku?
Dr. Sun was shocked when he heard the name. He looked at Su-won in disbelief again. "How do you know Yi Qinggu?" Seeing Dr. Sun so excited, Su-won was stumped by his question again. She could only make up an excuse on the spot, because she remembered that Yi Qinggu also studied medicine, but she was most famous for making poisons. "Actually, I did. Because when I was at the Gu family, I heard about it from my adoptive father. He often traveled around the country doing business, and he had heard about many people in the martial arts world." "Isn't Yi Qinggu's poison technique famous in the martial arts world? Rumor has it that there is no poison that she can't cure. I just thought that if I went to her, I might be able to ask for the method of detoxification." Yi Qinggu is also a well-known figure in the martial arts world, but she uses poisons, unlike Dr. Sun, who practices medicine to save lives, so she is less popular and not as famous as Dr. Sun. Moreover, the two of them were from the same school in their early years and had some unresolved disputes, so they've been competing with each other ever since. It is estimated that Yu Wushang bought the medicine from her at a high price. However, isn't it rumored that her poison is only sold to the destined person? Yu Wushang used to buy it from her? After hearing Su-won's explanation, Dr. Sun found it quite flawless, so he believed it. However, his expression looked a little strange, and he sighed heavily. "Dr. Sun, do you know Yi Qinggu?" Jiangyu could tell from his expression that they definitely knew each other. "Of course I know her. This Grandma Yi Qinggu is my grandfather's junior sister. They are from the same school," Sun Linger suddenly interrupted. This news came too suddenly, and everyone looked at her, hoping that she would continue. However, Sun Linger shrugged and said helplessly, I only know that Grandpa and this Grandma Yi are from the same school and have some personal grudges. I don't know anything else. Dr. Sun felt a little guilty, fearing that his secret would be exposed, so he quickly interrupted. Ayu, why don't you send a team to escort me to Laming Mountain? Yi Qingwu lives there, but she has a weird temper, so I'm afraid I have to do it myself. To be honest, this Lingqi poison was created by her. She had already developed this poison more than 40 years ago when she and I were still disciples under our master. When Girl Su mentioned her today, I suddenly remembered that I had heard about the Lingqi poison from her many years ago. Alas, I was so confused. Dr. Sun was explaining with a look of self-blame on his face. This was all from his youth, and more than 40 years had passed. He couldn't remember it for a moment and almost got delayed. That's what happens when you get old. You become useless and always fail. When Jiang Yu heard what Dr. Sun said, he suddenly felt that there was a hope for his grandfather, and the tense expression on his face finally relaxed a little. Okay, I'll ask Feng to get a team of people to escort you down the mountain. Jiang Yu didn't delay any further and went straight out of the room to find Feng. Su Wan secretly breathed a sigh of relief, thinking to himself, the old master can finally live longer this time, right? Girl, the heart blood you mentioned, is there any special requirement for male or female? There are also rules for heart blood. After taking heart blood, the loss to the person will be greater. Female heart blood is yin, while male heart blood is yang. The nature of the two is different. Dr. Sun wanted to prepare medicine according to Su Wan's prescription to temporarily prolong the life of the old master. He had no problem with the prescription for replenishing the deficiency and regulating qi and blood, but there was something particular about the heart blood, so he had to ask clearly. This stumped Su Wan. The original book only mentioned using heart blood, but she didn't know whether to use blood from a man or a woman. This is the consequence of being unprofessional. Why aren't you willing to write a few more words to explain it clearly? But in just a cup of tea, she was stumped 3 times. What a shame. It should be that they use a woman's heart blood. Taking yin to replenish yang is more useful for the old master. A man's heart blood is yang, which is somewhat in conflict with the old master's current condition. Su Mu took over the conversation, ready to explain it for Su Wan. One look at the girl's expression revealed that she was in a difficult situation. She should know, but she didn't know much. If she wasn't his biological sister, he would like to see how this girl would end up today. This idea is indeed feasible. I was not sure whether it was poison before, but now it is confirmed. However, this idea was proposed by Su Girl after all, so I still want to ask for clarification. I just didn't expect that you know medicine, Su Girl. When I come back from Laming Mountain, I have to test you carefully so as not to miss another good seedling studying medicine. What Su Mu could think of, Dr. Su could naturally think of as well, but as he said, the idea came from Su Wan, and he just wanted to confirm it, and he was focused on discovering good medical talents. When she heard that he wanted to test her, Su Wan's heart exploded with a mushroom cloud. She quickly waved her hand and refused. No, I know nothing about this medical skill. To be honest, I read this method from a book. I forgot what book it was, but it said that this method can be used to treat the old master's condition. I just put forward an idea, and the details still need to be confirmed by you, sir. But I can guarantee that this method will not cause any harm to the old master. Su Wan made a swearing gesture and explained righteously. Family members who understands. She almost dug a hole and buried herself in it. Seeing how excited she was, Dr. Sun couldn't help but stroke his beard and laugh. All right, I was just kidding you. The method you mentioned will not cause any harm to the old sect master. Even if an ordinary person uses it, it will only strengthen his body. I will go and prescribe the prescription first. The follow-up care of the old sect master will be handed over to my good granddaughter and good disciple. Su Girl, thank you for your hard work. Dr. Sun almost lost his confidence because of the matter of the old master. Now that Su Wan has found the main reason, he has a rough idea of the direction. In fact, if the old master could wait any longer, he would not have to go to find Yi Qingwu. He could rely on his own ability to mix the antidote because Su Wan provided him with direction and ideas. However, the fastest way at the moment is to ask that darn woman Yi Qinggu for the antidote. It may take a while for him to get any results if he prepares it himself. It is indeed a matter of time. In the original novel, Su Mu became famous after following the old master in a battle. He also relied on his talent to finally find a way to delay the toxicity of Ling Qi, which is what Su Wan said. As for her, she was just relying on her god's perspective. Sorry, second brother, she really didn't mean to steal the credit. Su Wan looked at her second brother, feeling extremely guilty. If conditions allowed, she would kowtow to him. When Su Mu passed by Su Wan, he gave her a meaningful look and said, "Just wait patiently. I'll tell you something later." Su Wan smiled awkwardly when he heard this. He had already started to organize his words in his mind, thinking about how he was going to deceive his shrewd second brother. Dr. Sun quickly wrote the prescription, which was for regulating qi and blood and replenishing deficiency, and all of them used the best medicinal materials. But this was not the most important thing, because the current problem was where to find so many women to provide heart blood. Drawing blood from the heart is a very damaging thing for the human body. The body will be limp for half a month after each drawing. Moreover, there are only 4 women in the entire Fengyue villa, Su Wan, Sun Linger, and Lu Yun and Lu Ying, who are protecting Su Wan closely. This heart blood needs to be collected once a day. It will take at least half a month for me to go to Thunder Mountain and back. I estimate that I will have to deal with that darn woman for a few more days. It will probably take nearly a month to go back and forth. Where can I find so much heart blood from women in this month? Dr. Sun is well aware of the harmful effects of drawing blood from the heart on the human body. A person can only do this at most 3 times in his or her lifetime, with a year's interval in between. He was reluctant to let his granddaughter suffer, and Su Girl was the apple of Jiangyu and Su Mu's eyes, so they certainly wouldn't want that either. Use mine. Su Wan and Sun Linger stretched out their arms at the same time and spoke in unison. No, Wan, you're not feeling well, so you'd better use mine. Sun Linger was worried that Su Wan was still feeling uncomfortable because of the incident with the rosewood bracelet, and she was afraid that taking the blood from her heart would cause her secondary harm. The difficulty of this matter lies in the fact that it can only require the blood of women. Unfortunately, women in Fengyue Villa are scarce and can be counted on one hand. The men, really cannot help and are powerless.
What are you talking about?
Just when everyone was struggling with the source of their heart blood, Jiangyu came back. Su Wan wanted to say that she wanted to do her part for the old master, but was interrupted by his sudden appearance. Jiangyu has already asked Fengying to make arrangements and asked them to organize a capable team as quickly as possible to protect Dr. Sun as they go to Laming Mountain. Moreover, this matter had to be kept secret from Yu Wushang, and Dr. Sun had to be sent down the mountain without his knowledge to prevent him from interfering again. When Su Wan arrived, Fengyue Pavilion dismissed all the servants, and only a few people who trusted each other were present. Therefore, apart from Fengyue Pavilion, absolutely no one knew that the old master's poisoning had been exposed, and a treatment plan was determined in a short time, temporarily saving the old master's life. Yu Wushang could never have imagined that his perfect plan of just waiting to close the net would be infiltrated by Su Wan, a huge bug with a god's perspective. He originally thought that once the old sect leader died, even if he personally announced Jiangyu as the next sect leader, he could lead the elders to raise objections and put unilateral pressure on Jiangyu. A sect leader who has no core support last? In the end, only Yu Wushang is the one that everyone wants. If it really doesn't work, he can also provoke fighting within the sect and force Jiangyu to take the position directly. By then, Jiangyu will be trapped in Fengyue Villa, and most of the power of Fengyue Villa is in his hands. Jiangyu will just become a trapped beast, and he will have to give up this position even if he doesn't want to. As for the forces outside Fengyue Villa, they have no qualifications to intervene at all. Those are the forces that Fengyue Villa uses to develop side businesses. They have no say in the sect. The real say is in the hands of several core elders in the sect. Each elder has hundreds of disciples with high martial arts skills. Some are good at hidden weapons, some are good at machine guns, and some are good at close combat. In short, there are elders who are good at all kinds of weapons in the sect, and the disciples they lead are naturally good at them as well. They were not convinced by Jiang Yu, this young man, in the first place. Yu Wushang had brainwashed them for years, and their ideas had long been deeply rooted. If they were asked to rebel, they would most likely do so. But Jiang Yu was different. He only had Jiang Yunhe by his side. He had gone out to avoid the world in his early years. Now he had the title of elder, but he had no effective power to deploy. There was also Dr. Sun, who was just a medical student and had only one apprentice. How could he help? Would he kill them with a silver needle? Therefore, unless Jiang Yu can produce evidence to prove that Yu Wushang murdered the old sect master, those elders have followed the old sect master through thick and thin. Even if they do not obey Jiang Yu, they respect the old sect master very much. Therefore, as long as it is confirmed that Yu Wushang murdered the old sect master, it will be his turn to do the trapped beast thing. Of course, if the old sect master gets better and continues to be in charge of the sect, then Fengyue Villa will not be in chaos. The men led by Feng Ying are all absolute masters, good at long-range combat, close combat, reconnaissance, and all kinds of fields. As long as they can quietly bring Dr. Sun down the mountain without arousing suspicion, and then successfully escort him to Laming Mountain, it will be enough. Seeing Jiang Yu coming, Dr. Sun knew that this matter would not be difficult. Jiang Yu would definitely be able to solve it easily, and there would be no need to let two delicate little girls sacrifice themselves. It's not that he is stingy towards the old master, but he just can't bear to let go. Jiang Yu, you came just in time. I have one more thing to ask you to do. You have to send people down the mountain to find a group of healthy women and bring them up the mountain to settle down. During this period, the old master needs fresh heart blood every day. This heart blood can only be from women, not men. But you know that we don't have any female disciples in Fengyue Mountain Villa, and taking heart blood is very harmful to the body. I guess you don't want to use Sioux girl's heart blood, so you should do it quickly. It must be done in 2 days at the latest. Also, have you gathered your troops? If you have, leave now without delay. Dr. Sun was also very anxious. He and the old master were friends for life and death, and he also wanted him to get better. If he had wings, he would have wanted to fly to Laming Mountain immediately to seek justice from that darn woman Yi Qinggu. Jiang Yu was very busy every day, and he was covered in injuries. He only heard a few key words: heart blood, injury to the body, and if he didn't go find someone else, he would have to use his daughters. How could that be possible? He couldn't bear to do that. I'll give the order now, and have someone do it. Feng Ying is already gathering his men, but we have to leave quietly and not alert the enemy. Dr. Sun, please get ready. We'll take you away after nightfall. Jiang Yu had just finished speaking when he was about to leave the old master's bedroom to do some work. Looking at his back, he walked briskly, as if he was afraid of being delayed. To find healthy women. As long as you offer generous rewards, many people will offer their services for wealth. But the tricky part is how to bring these women to the mountain under Yu Wushang's nose without arousing suspicion.
Yu Wushang is a smart man.
If someone brought so many women up the mountain for no reason, he would definitely be suspicious and would ask someone about it. However, this will test Jiang Yu's own ability. He must have some real skills to have come this far. Seeing Jiang Yu busying around, Jiang Yunhe couldn't help at all, so he shrugged helplessly. Hey, I just returned to Fengyue Villa not long ago, and I don't have many trusted subordinates. I can only let a Yu do everything himself. The only thing I can do is to protect Master for him. Jiang Yunhe suddenly felt that it was a sin for him to leave Fengyue Villa without caring about anything many years ago. Now, even the only son she had left in this world was in trouble, and he couldn't help at all. It would take time to find a group of women to go up the mountain, so we still had to find the women's blood in the next 2 days. However, Dr. Sun refused to let Sun Linger and Su Wan draw blood, so in the end, he had to let Lu Yun and Lu Ying come. Each of them drew blood once, and they could last for 2 days. Moreover, both of them are martial artists with a solid foundation in martial arts and good physical fitness. It would definitely be more appropriate for them to come, and they would recover faster. However, taking the heart blood is indeed harmful to the body. Lu Yun was the first to take it. He used a knife to cut the carotid artery in the wrist. The blood that flowed out at first was dark red, with a little black. It was not until the blood turned bright red that the first stream of bright red blood was taken out. It was called the heart blood. This is purely fabricated by the author, with no scientific basis, so just treat it as the author's nonsense. The details must comply with medical codes. Before the cardiac blood appears, at least 200 milliliters of blood must be drained out and 100 milliliters of blood are needed. It is really harmful for a person to drain so much blood at one time, and it is difficult to replenish it. Lu Yun went in. Her face was still rosy. When she came out, her face had turned pale, and her lips were also white. She looked far less energetic than before, and felt dizzy and nauseous. Her wrist was wrapped in a bandage, and you could vaguely see red, probably because the bleeding had just stopped. She was holding onto the door frame, and Lu Ying hurried over to help her when she saw this. Su-won was also very concerned about her health. Go back and lie down to rest. Ask the kitchen to make some more pork liver and other dishes for you to eat. I'll ask my second brother to prescribe some nourishing medicine. The person is hers. If she doesn't feel sorry for him, who will? Lu Yun and Lu Ying came to her side. They have been working diligently and conscientiously without any complaints. Whenever there is any problem, they will give their all without hesitation. With such good bodyguards, what else could she complain about? Girl, don't worry about me, I'm fine. Although Lu Yun felt very uncomfortable, he still forced a smile at her. Jiang Yu and Su Mu were also watching from the side, thinking that even a martial artist like Lu Yun could suffer so much, so it was the right decision not to let their daughter go. Jiang Yu has already sent people down the mountain to look for women, offering a reward of 500 taels per person. He believes that enough women can be gathered soon. After they arrived, Jiang Yu would be responsible for their recovery after donating blood. Jiang Yu had already thought of a reason. Fengyue Villa had been quiet for too long and was too lifeless. The old master wanted to make it more lively, so he invited a troupe of actors from the mountain as an excuse to deceive Yu Wushang's spies. Then the women would follow the troupe up the mountain. It was common knowledge among everyone in Fengyue Villa that the old sect master loved to listen to operas. When the old sect master was in good health, he would often go down the mountain by himself to listen to operas with the troupe. There are many people learning the art in the opera troupe. Every year, many talented women are trained and focused on their voices. There is always one role suitable for them to sing among the various roles: Sheng, Dan, Jing, Mo, and Cho. Moreover, there are only many women in the opera troupe, so it is not easy to attract attention. He will invite several opera troupes to the mountain at one time, so that the number of people will not arouse suspicion. Lu Ying, please send Lu Yun back to rest. Liu Yun's face looked really bad. After all, she was a humane boss and couldn't treat her employees harshly, right? Thank you for your consideration, miss. The two sisters bowed slightly to her to show their respect. Afterwards, Lu Ying took Lu Yun back to the room prepared for them at Fengyue Villa. Old sect leader woke up for a while, ate something, and fell asleep again. Jiang Yu could not leave his side and had to stay by his side personally. Su-won stayed with Jiang Yu for the whole afternoon and did not leave until nightfall. Sun Linger accompanied her, but before leaving, she was stopped by Su Mu alone. After a busy day, he didn't have time to talk to her. Dr. Sun would be leaving Fengyue Villa for Laming Mountain soon, and he had no time to leave Fengyue Pavilion because once his teacher left, he would have to stay by the old master's side. Linger, wait a moment. I want to talk to Wanwan alone. Originally, the two girls were arm in arm preparing to go back to Jiaxing Pavilion, but as soon as they stepped out of the door, they were stopped by Su Mu. Su-won knew that what was coming would eventually come, and she could hide it for a while but not forever. Okay then, Wanwan, I'll wait for you, go ahead. Sun Linger reluctantly let go of her hand. Sun Linger usually travels around with her grandfather every day, and she doesn't have any little sisters around her. Later, Su Mu came, but he was also a taciturn person. Now, she finally has a little sister of similar age who she can talk to, and she wishes she could lie down with her and talk for 3 days and 3 nights.
Su-won nodded, then followed Su-mu.
Su-mu took her to the next room with a serious face. Su-won stood there with her head down, feeling guilty. Sit there. Sumu pointed at the armchair in the room with his chin. The second brother was very serious, and his temperament was cold as ice, giving her the same oppressive feeling as a head teacher. She sat down obediently, her back straight. Sumu walked up to her, looked down at her, with his hands behind his back. If he also had a big ruler in his hand, he would definitely be the dean of studies. Tell me, how did you know about Ling Qi, and how did you know about using a woman's heart blood to save people? Suwon knew he would ask this. Jiang Yu didn't ask because he didn't want to embarrass her. Dr. Sun didn't ask because he was doing it for Jiang Yu's sake. But he is his biological brother, so it's not too much for him to know the truth, right? Anyway, he would not do anything bad to his own sister. Suwon lowered his head, not daring to look at him. His eyes rolled around in circles. On the surface, he looked as calm as an old dog, but inside, he was extremely panicked. What should she do? If she tells the truth, will her second brother think she is sick and immediately find some shamans to exorcise the evil spirits for her? This kind of weird stuff is too unconvincing. Moreover, in the second brother's stereotype, she was just a rich lady who had lived in a honey pot for the past 10 years and had never been exposed to any medical skills. What could she say? In the end, she chose an explanation that she herself didn't quite believe. Brother, do you believe in dreams? Dream? What does that mean?
Sumu frowned in confusion.
That's right. I don't know why in the past few years, I always have some very strange dreams. I can't see the faces of the people in the dreams clearly, but the things I dream about sometimes become true. For example, when Gu Yu and I's identities were discovered, I dreamed a few nights ago that I might not be the biological daughter of the Gu family. As a result, this dream was confirmed within a few days. Actually, there was also the matter of my eldest brother taking the imperial examination. It was also because of a dream. I dreamed that the emperor gave an examination question on flood control policy. Because my eldest brother was not well prepared, he only passed the examination with a 3rd place. At that time, I was afraid of accidents, so I went to talk to my eldest brother about it and asked him to prepare in advance and read more books about flood control. Sure enough, this matter also came true. The emperor really gave a policy question on flood control. Don't you think it's weird? Suwon spoke with great emotion and gestured at the same time. The shock on his face did not seem to be acted, and it was even mixed with a little bit of fear. After hearing what she said, Sumu's brows were furrowed into a knot.
Go on.
Sumu didn't have the completely distrustful look and reaction that Suwon had imagined. Instead, he seemed a little curious, half believing and half doubting. Second brother, if you don't believe me, you can go ask eldest brother. I really went to find him specifically because of this matter. Do you remember the first time we found the seriously injured Jiang Yu? Did I insist on saving him? Actually, it was because I had a dream. In the dream, I knew that he was the prince of the Duke of Zhang's mansion. I thought that saving him might help our eldest brother's career, so I insisted that you save him. Second brother, you should also know whether I lied about this matter or not. You were there at the time, you can prove it for me. Of course, Sumu remembered it, and he remembered it clearly. At that time, Suwon seemed to be possessed by a ghost. He insisted on going to that land temple and insisted on saving Jiang Yu, as if they knew each other. At that time, he thought that they knew each other privately, or that she was attracted by Jiang Yu's beauty, which was why she behaved so stupidly. Now it seems that there is indeed a reason to follow and a clue to trace. Well, I know about this. Is there anything else? Su Mu was actually still a little unable to accept such outrageous things. He still needed Su Wan to say something to convince him. Su Wan sighed and produced another piece of strong evidence. And our father, I also had a dream about a mine collapse in advance. In the dream, our father's legs were broken, so I asked my third brother to bring our parents back in advance and successfully avoided this accident. You also know this, my father mentioned it during the New Year. This is indeed undeniable. At that time, Suwon asked the third brother to pick up his parents and urged them again and again, even though it was clearly not the end of the year yet. He wondered why at the time, but he didn't ask too much. Now that Suwon said this, It seemed like everything was connected, and it made sense. Then, what's the matter with the old master? Sumu had actually been mostly convinced by Suwon's words, and he had already believed it subconsciously. But he still wanted to know about the old master, and he wanted to know the details of a dream. No, second brother, I have said so much. Do you believe me? Do you believe that what I said is true? What Suwon cares about now is whether her second brother believes it. If he doesn't, then wouldn't all her words be in vain? Sumu continued to look at her seriously. Then he moved a stool over and sat in front of Suwon. What you said makes sense. How can I not believe it? But what I'm worried about now is whether the situation will have any impact on you. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? He reached out and touched her forehead. The temperature was normal, and she was not sick. The main thing is that this matter is really weird. If you believe it, you will find it too strange. If you don't believe it, the evidence and various things from the past are there. It doesn't seem to be fake, and Wawan doesn't seem like a liar. Just believe it, then all her abnormal behavior can be explained. Of course, this is a good thing. Otherwise, these situations cannot be saved, which would be a harm to everyone, okay? My eldest brother got his wish and became the top scholar, embarking on the official career path he had always dreamed of. Jiangyu survived and got acquainted with our Su family. My second brother, your efforts were noticed by Dr. Sun, which gave you the opportunity to improve your medical skills to a higher level. And my parents are healthy now. Isn't that a good thing? Old master is the same. If I hadn't predicted it in advance, then I would have really run out of energy. This would also be a harm to Jiangyu. I stopped these regrets in time. Isn't it good? The result is enough. The process is not important. What Suwon said made sense, and every word was true, but Sumu caught a message from it. My acquaintance with the teacher is also within your control? Faced with his second brother's inquiring gaze, Suwon was choked again. I'm doing this for your own good, brother. Please don't be angry, okay? She was afraid that her second brother would feel burdened. But unexpectedly, Sumu laughed, and laughed very brightly. Why should I be angry? Even if you built a bridge for me, do you think it's easy to become a disciple of the teacher? I got all these by passing the tests. If I don't have a certain level of strength, how can I impress the teacher? Just because I saved Jiangyu? Sumu is truly a clear-headed and insightful person. Why should he feel burdened just because this opportunity was fought for him by his sister? However, having an opportunity does not mean you will succeed. Everything depends on your strength. His second brother thought this way, and Suwon secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Second brother, you are my eternal god. Suwon gave him a thumbs up with a fangirl look on her face. Sumu was amused by her, and a few magnetic chuckles escaped from his throat. Stop flattering me and get down to business. What kind of dream did you have about the old master? Getting back to the point, the topic was brought back to the old sect master, and Suwon had already written a script in his mind. That's right, I dreamed about it on the way to Fengyue Villa. After Suwon gave a moving and emotional speech on the script, he successfully smoothed over Sumu's frown. Oh, so that's what it is. In fact, it makes sense. Suwon has never come into contact with any poison, nor has he ever come into contact with Yi Qinggu. How could he know this name out of nowhere? Therefore, Suwon's remarks have certain basis and are convincing. Sumu finally sighed heavily, stood up, put his hand on her shoulder, and warned her with an expression and tone that was 10 times more serious than usual. Wanwan, you can't tell anyone about this except me, including Jiangyu and my elder brother, parents, and others. This is our secret. My second brother will keep it for you and protect you. This sounds like a fantasy, but it's very serious. If people knew about it, they would think you were a monster. I'm even more afraid that someone would use your ability to do something to hurt you. Do you understand? Upon hearing this, Suwon nodded quickly and agreed.
Well,
having the ability to predict dreams is always more convincing than traveling through a book. The latter would probably lead to being sacrificed to the gods. Okay, go back and have a rest. Come to me if you have any problems.
got it?
Sumu was finally going to let her go. After Suwon left the room, she felt that she had passed the test. She couldn't help but sigh that the Oscars owed her a little golden man. The people arranged by Fengying had already gone down the mountain in several groups during the day and left among several waves of disciples who went out to buy things. A total of 20 people were arranged, and they have all gone down the mountain. At midnight, Fengying will leave Fengyue Villa in the dark with a disguised Dr. Sunday. Yu Wushang were also secretly lured away by Jiangyu. No one knew that Dr. Sun had left Fengyue Villa. To outsiders, it seemed that Dr. Sun had been staying in Fengyue Pavilion and had never come out. Sun Linger had been waiting patiently for Su Wan. She had been gone for a long time and had no idea what the brother and sister were talking about. Jiang Yu just stepped out of the room and saw Sun Linger, who was supposed to have left, was still there. "Linger, haven't you left with Wan Wan?" Jiang Yu said as he looked around for Su Wan. "Su Mu wants to talk to her about something and hasn't come out yet." Sun Linger pointed to the lighted house next door. Just as he finished speaking, Su Wan and Su Mu came out one after another. When Jiang Yu saw them, his eyes automatically softened. Su Wan was also the first person to see the tall and straight figure standing at the door of the room. The two looked at each other from a distance, their eyes communicating with each other. However, Su Mu walked directly to the front to block the two people's sight, with an expressionless face. "Su Wan, it's late. Go back to bed." "I got it, second brother." Su Wan ran down the stairs, and Sun Linger came up to her and took her arm, looking so intimate. They are really a good pair of sisters. Several guards sent them back to Zhaixing Pavilion. They slept together at night and chatted for most of the night. The next morning, Su Mu followed the instructions of Dr. Sun and fed the old master his heart blood, along with the prescribed medicine. In the afternoon, the old master woke up on his own. He did not feel unconscious. He recognized everyone and could call out their names. Moreover, his thoughts were very clear. The blood from the heart really had an immediate effect. After the old sect master woke up, he didn't seem as weak as he looked yesterday, and he also felt a lot more comfortable. The moment he opened his eyes, he saw his lovely grandson and his future granddaughter-in-law. The old man was so happy that he felt comfortable just looking at them. Jiang Yu fed him, and Su Wan waited obediently beside him with tea. Old sect leader was in much better spirits now, so Jiang Yu told him about his poisoning and said that Dr. Sun had gone to get the antidote, and he would be well again soon. Old sect leader have imagined that he was poisoned, and that the poison was put on his beloved sandalwood bracelet, and then used with his favorite cold sandalwood to harm him. The viciousness of the person behind this is simply outrageous. He could probably guess who did it, but he was so disappointed in that person and felt that all his years of training him was in vain. Never mind, once the truth comes out, he will punish him, because he would not punish anyone without evidence. However, he also heard that it was his granddaughter-in-law who discovered it. If she had not discovered it in time, he would have had to wait for death. So he asked Su Wan if there was anything he wanted. "Girl, you saved my life, and grandfather doesn't know how to repay you. Our Fengyue Villa has nothing special except some money and power, so if you want something, just tell grandfather, and I will do everything I can to get it for you. This kind of life-saving favor should either be repaid with life, or any other material things are empty. But we must express it so as not to neglect the other person." Who knew that Su Wan said obediently, "I don't want anything except that you are healthy and live a long life." For making the old man happy. Just a few words made the old master happy. "You little girl are really good at talking and very lovable. Since you don't say what you want, your grandfather can only watch and give it to you." The old sect leader spoke as if he was teasing a child. "What does grandpa want to give me?" Su Wan was a little curious. Old sect leader thought carefully and wondered what he should give to express his appreciation for Su Wan. Jiang Yu was very happy to see that his grandfather and Su Wan were getting along so harmoniously, and the smile on his face never faded. "Hey, I've been thinking about it for a long time, but I still don't know what to give you. How about this, you think about it slowly, and tell me when you come up with it. As long as it's not the stars or the moon in the sky, Grandpa can find it for you." Old sect master simply didn't offer to send it and let the child figure it out on her own. If she wanted something in the future, she would naturally come to him. "Okay, thank you, Grandpa." Don't worry, I won't be polite with you. Which elder would not like Su-won's quirky personality? Old sect master woke up. He never stopped laughing. I'm afraid you'll be polite to me.
Please don't be polite.
Old sect master looked at Su-won. The more satisfied he became. The more he looked, the more he felt that the two were a perfect match, a match made in heaven. Him into drinking an extra bowl of meat porridge and eating a few soft and glutinous snacks. As long as people eat something, it is better than eating nothing. As soon as Jang Yunha and Sumu arrived, they saw this happy scene. Seeing that his master was so happy, Jang Yunha became more energetic and his worries dissipated a lot. Master, you got a great granddaughter-in-law. You must be very happy, right? He joked as soon as he came. Old sect leader was half leaning on the bed and couldn't help but curl his lips when he heard him say that. Hey, you're talking as if you didn't get a good nephew's wife. Old sect master opened his mouth. He made everyone laugh, except Sumu, of course. He had not agreed to the marriage yet, but he just respected the old sect master and didn't want to make him unhappy. In fact, the luckiest guy is Jiang Yu. Jiang Yunha started teasing Jiang Yu again. Jiang Yu's ears turned red for a rare moment, and he smiled embarrassedly. Su-won really wanted to say that she had not yet agreed to marry him, but for the sake of the old sect master, she did not object. Sumu couldn't help but cough twice, and no one knew what he wanted to express. But Jiang Yunha reacted immediately and realized that it was over. The other person's brother was still here, and he didn't want to listen anymore. Look at me. I forgot to tell you, Master. You may not know that Sumu is Su-girl's second brother. Old sect master really didn't know, and only found out today. Hearing this, he looked at Su-won and then at Sumu. So you are brother and sister. No wonder I always feel that you two have similar temperaments. Yunha, please stop teasing me about your grandson's wife. Our two families haven't completed the 3 books and 6 ceremonies yet. We have to follow the rules. Yes, Master, I will pay attention to it next time. Jiang Yunha also realized that he had gone too far in joking. The frost on Sumu's face finally melted a little, and he stepped forward to check the old master's pulse. Master, let me feel your pulse. Okay. Thank you for your hard work. The old sect leader happily stretched out his hand to him. After Sumu took it, he felt that the pulse was much stronger than yesterday. When he took the old master's pulse before, the pulse was weak. It seems that the heart blood is indeed a good thing to make up for the deficiency, but it is too harmful to the person who bleeds it. Master, your pulse has stabilized a lot, but this heart blood can only temporarily preserve your vitality. It is not a long-term solution. We have to wait for the teacher to bring back the antidote. During this period, you must rest well and not get angry. Okay, I understand. Don't worry, young man. In fact, the old sect leader didn't care whether he could live a few more years. He just wanted to see you take over Fengyue Villa and start a family. Just as he finished speaking, a servant came in to report that Elder Yu had come to visit the old sect leader. When they heard that Yu Wushang was coming, everyone's smiles disappeared instantly. They really didn't know why he came to join in the fun when they were having such a happy time. However, he couldn't reveal his true identity yet, so the old sect leader could only ask someone to invite him in. Go and ask him to come in. Old sect leader spoke, and the disciples who came in to answer him went to do as he was told. After a while, Yu Wushang walked in wearing a plain elder's uniform. He came in, he looked around and found that everyone who should be there was there, except Sun Beidou. At this time, he was not with the old master. Where did he go? Yu Wushang did not have time to think about so many things on the spot, but walked straight to the old master's bed and bowed with his fists clasped. He didn't know yet that everyone had already discovered the cause of the old master's poisoning and had now sent Dr. Sun to look for him. Master, I heard that you are feeling better, so I came to see you specially. Yu Wushang always called him Master in front of others and never called him adoptive father. He only called him that in private when he was a child, and then for some unknown reason he never called him that again. He took a look at the old sect master's condition, and it seemed that he had really improved a lot. At least the first 2 times he saw him, although he was conscious, he looked pale and weak. This time, his complexion actually looked much better. Could it be that they have found a way to curb the toxicity? That shouldn't be the case. He did this in a very secretive way. Most people wouldn't be able to imagine how deep it is. Well, I'm much better.
Thank you for thinking about me.
The old sect leader didn't want to see him, so he closed his eyes and spoke in a light tone. You worked so hard to raise me. How could I not miss you? Seeing that you are much better, I feel much more at ease. Yu Wushang said these words as if no one was around. It was so hypocritical. I don't know where he got such a thick skin. He could say these words without changing his expression or heart beating. Maybe this is the highest level of shamelessness. Forgive Su Wan for not being able to help but secretly curl her lips. She almost rolled her eyes. Old sect leader just nodded and didn't answer. Who knew that Su Wan's little action was actually seen by Yu Wushang? He narrowed his eyes and looked at Su Wan with a smile. It seems that my future niece-in-law doesn't like me as her uncle very much. Su Wan was inexplicably cued, and she almost didn't react. However, she just looked at Yu Wushang and smiled. The smile seemed far-fetched, and not saying anything meant she agreed. She complained in her heart, "You are so awesome that you come here to act. Is your daily life too boring so you want to find a side job?" He didn't expect that Su Wan didn't respond to him, and the others also didn't say anything, standing aside as if they didn't see him. The old sect leader was also the same, not even willing to look at him. It's always like this, always ignoring him and looking down on him. Yu Wushang bit his back teeth, almost unable to hold back his micro-expression. However, he quickly changed the subject. Master, I heard that you want to watch a play? But can your current body support such fatigue? He already knew that Jiangyu had invited several opera troupes. He was a little curious and didn't know what tricks Jiangyu was up to, so he came to ask him questions. Old sect leader actually didn't know about this, so he opened his eyes and looked at Jiangyu, who was sitting at the end of the bed. Jiangyu blinked, signaling him to ignore it. Old sect master understood immediately, so he looked at Yu Wushang. I've been lying in bed for too long recently, and I'm almost moldy. I thought it's because Fengyue Mountain Villa hasn't been lively for a long time, and I haven't listened to opera for a long time. In my current state, I can't run around, so I asked Jiangyu to invite the opera troupe to the mountain. When I want to listen to the music, they can perform for me at any time, and it will be lively and get rid of the bad luck. He is indeed my grandfather. He doesn't even need to check the script in advance. He can accurately express what Jiangyu wants to say. The cooperation was so perfect that Jiangyu couldn't help but smile. When Yu Wushang saw that the old man said the same thing, he still had doubts in his heart, but he couldn't explain why. Master, you are not feeling well. You should rest more. Although no one knows what Jiangyu is planning, this guy named you does a good job of pretending to be good. If you don't know him, you might think he really cares about the old sect leader. He plays the role of a filial son very well. I'm so old, and I've worked hard all my life, and now you won't even let me watch a play when I want to? I know my own body, so don't worry about it. The old sect leader was a little impatient, and he waved his hand. Okay, if there's nothing else, you can all leave. You can stay. Su girl, you've been guarding here for most of the day. Your filial grandfather knows that you've worked hard. Go back and have a rest. Old sect master's turn to talk to Su Wan. His tone was like he was coaxing a child. The more he looked at this girl, the happier he became. Then, Grandpa, you take a rest first. I will come over later to have dinner with you. Su Wan smiled sweetly, revealing 2 dimples. Anyone who saw her would be infected and full of energy. Okay, go ahead. Tell the kitchen what you want to eat. Fengyue Villa is on the water, so we have plenty of fresh river food. Thank you, Grandpa, for your concern. Su Wan stood up and bowed to him. Looking at this happy scene, Yu Wushang smiled self-deprecatingly, with contempt flashing from the corners of his eyes, but it was fleeting and no one noticed. The old sect leader started to chase everyone away, and everyone left the sect leader's room one after another. Su Mu didn't leave, but went to the cubicle to get his medicine. Yu Wushang left. He discovered that one essential item was missing from the room, which was the cold sandalwood incense that was usually lit for 12 hours. The furniture in the room was all new, the windows were opened a little, and now there was no sandalwood at all. He couldn't help but wonder how they came to suspect this. Unable to resist his curiosity, he wanted to confirm it. After Su Wan and the others left, he followed them slowly behind. There was a disciple sweeping the courtyard, so he walked up to him and asked casually, "Why is there no incense burning in the old master's room?" The disciples who often go to Fengyue Pavilion know that the old master likes to light sandalwood, so they naturally know what he is asking. However, Zhang Yu had already said hello, and if anyone asked, he would say, the sandalwood was found to be poisonous, so they didn't dare give it to the old master, so the young master had them withdrawn. Poisonous? What kind of poison is it? Is it serious? Yu Wushang didn't understand. This sandalwood was just a poison initiator. How could it be poisonous? Elder Yu, I don't know what the poison is. I only know it is harmful to our sect leader. It was determined by Divine Dr. Sun himself. The young disciple told him everything he knew. Yu Wushang frowned, unable to understand. Could it be that besides him, there was someone else who wanted the old man to die? Are you sure you heard it right? There is poison in the sandalwood? He confirmed again worriedly. Yes, I'm sure, but I don't know what kind of poison it was. I only know that the young master was furious and replaced all the furniture and ornaments in the master's room, even the bedding and pillows. Was the information he received, which was spread deliberately by Zhang Yu. Yu Wushang put his hands behind his back and squinted his eyes as he thought about this matter over and over again. He wondered if there was someone else besides himself who was eyeing the position of sect leader. Could it be that one of the elders has some hidden selfish motives? It has to be said that Zhang Yu played this trick beautifully. It successfully aroused Yu Wushang's suspicion and made him suspect other elders. In order to eliminate dissidents and not leave any hidden dangers for himself, he would definitely investigate other elders thoroughly. By then, his attention will be drawn elsewhere, and he will not focus all his attention on the old master. Yu Wushang knew very well that the old master had been poisoned too deeply and could not be saved without an antidote. Even if he could find a way to alleviate the toxicity before he died and keep him alive, he would not be able to hold on for more than a few months. The upper limit of Ling Qi is 5 years. There are still 2 months since the poisoning. If the antidote cannot be found in time, even the gods cannot save him. However, he now has to confirm one thing, which is where did Sun Beta go? So Yu Wushang asked the young disciple again. By the way, why didn't I see Dr. Sun and his granddaughter today? The young disciple heard this and thought carefully. I heard that Dr. Sun has been taking care of the old master's health for a while, and he himself has fallen ill at his old age. He is now bedridden, and Miss Linger has to take care of him. Now it is his apprentice, Master Su, who is taking care of the old master. Yu Wushang heard this, his eyes rolled, and he felt that something was wrong. Is Dr. Sun sick? I have to go see him. Having said that, Yu Wushang strode out of Fengyue Pavilion and went to the medicine garden where Dr. Sun usually lived. Old sect master's room. Zhang Yu was quietly observing Yu Wushang through a crack in the window. I saw him talking to a disciple in the yard for a long time, probably asking about the old master's condition and Dr. Sunday. After he left, Zhang Yu closed the window and returned to the old master's bedside. Old sect master had been helped by him to lie down and was resting with his eyes closed. Well, can you keep it secret? He asked. Don't worry, grandfather. Everything has been arranged. Zhang Yu has always been very careful in what he does. If he says something has been arranged, then it must have been arranged. Sun Linger received the mission and was to guard and provide cover in the medicine garden. As soon as Su Wan came out of Fengyue Pavilion, he went to the medicine garden to accompany her and did not return to Zhaixing Pavilion. She had just sat down and hadn't even had time to finish her tea when someone came to announce that Elder Yu was coming. Sun Linger didn't expect him to come so soon. She put down the teacup and immediately went back to her grandfather's room. In order to create the appearance that Dr. Sun was really sick, she spent a whole day boiling Chinese medicine in the medicine garden. Yu Wushang came in. He smelled a strong smell of Chinese medicine, which was very pungent. This medicine garden, as the name suggests, is a large herbal garden created by Sun Beidou and is filled with various kinds of medicinal herbs. Then, for convenience, he simply asked the old sect master to build a big house for him inside. When he was not at Fengyue Villa, several disciples who knew pharmacology would take care of it. Yu Wushang walked straight into the hall and saw Su Wan sitting there alone drinking tea, but did not see Sun Linger. Su Wan took the initiative to say hello. "Elder Yu, why are you here?" Yu Wushang glanced at him, raised his eyebrows and smiled. "So my nephew's wife is here too? I heard that Dr. Sun was ill, so I came to see him. Where is he now?" Yu Wushang went straight to the point without beating around the bush. Su Wan wished he would be more direct and was too lazy to deal with him. "Oh, Dr. Sun has been taking care of the old master without sleep for days. He accidentally caught a cold and is now in bed recuperating. He is old and not as strong as a young man, so this cold is particularly severe for him. Yes, Dr. Sun has worked hard and made great contributions. That's why I came to visit him specially." Yu Wushang put his hands behind his back, smiled, and stared at Su Wan. "This girl is really cute. No wonder she can charm Jiangyu." Upon hearing this, Su Wan looked him up and down, left and right, but Yu Wushang didn't understand what she meant. "What's wrong, nephew's wife? Is there anything wrong?" "Nothing. It's just that this is the first time I've seen a visitor with nothing in his hands." Su Wan's words were very direct, which made Yu Wushang embarrassed. She was also speaking the truth. Who would come to see a patient empty-handed? That was too imprecise. Yu Wushang was so annoyed by her that he coughed twice in embarrassment to ease the embarrassment. "I heard that Dr. Sun was ill, so I rushed to see him in such a hurry that I didn't prepare anything." "My niece, you are a straightforward person. Elder Yu, I am used to speaking without restraint. Please forgive my youth and ignorance. I can't stop myself from speaking the truth. Please don't mind it. Don't hit a smiling person." Su Wan scolded the man and said as if I didn't mean it. "I just speak my mind. I'm still young. If you make a fuss about it, you're wrong." Sun Linger was hiding in the dark and was almost laughed to death by Su Wan. These sisters are so funny. It was almost her turn to appear, so she adjusted her state and walked out pretending to be sad. "Elder Yu is here? Please take a seat. I'll go make you some tea. We are short-staffed in the herb garden, so please forgive me for any inadequacies in our hospitality." "You're welcome. I'm here to visit Dr. Sunday. I'll leave after I see him."
Don't bother me.
Yu Wushang had just been given face by Su Wan, and he didn't really want to stay here now. He just wanted to make sure whether Dr. Sun was still in Fengyue Villa. "My grandfather caught a severe cold, so he took some medicine and went asleep. There's nothing serious wrong with him. Thank you for your concern, Elder Yu." Sun Linger definitely couldn't let him see it. "I know, but I have always respected Dr. Sun, and he fell ill because of my adoptive father. It is only natural for me to come and see him. After making sure he is well, I will leave. Yu Wushang will not stop until he sees what he has today." Sun Linger almost couldn't hold back and wanted to scold him. It was endless. Without waiting for her to say anything else, Yu Wushang had already walked into the inner room, and no one could stop him. Su Wan also panicked and quickly stood up and followed. "Elder Yu, my grandfather finally fell asleep. Why don't you come back later and let him have a good rest?" "It's okay. I'll be quiet and definitely won't disturb him." How could Sun Linger stop him? If she stopped him too harshly, it would seem deliberate. What should she do? Yu Wushang walked to the door and was about to push it open when Sun Linger thought to herself, "It's all over." As a result, the reversal came. Yu Wushang just put his hand on the door, and there was a noise from inside. "Ahem. Ahem. Wushang, I have a serious cold. Please don't come in, or it will be troublesome for you. I know your intention. Please go back." When this voice came out, not to mention Yu Wushang, even Sun Linger and Su Wan were stunned. This voice is indeed that of Dr. Sunday. He came back so soon? Yu Wushang pondered for a moment and then withdrew his hand, because this was indeed the voice of Dr. Sun, who usually called him Wushang. "Then, Dr. Sun, please have a good rest. I won't disturb you, if you're not injured." Yu Wushang got the result, so he naturally wouldn't continue to pester the matter. He didn't want to stay here anyway, so he left quickly. Sun Linger and Suwon saw him to the door, and after making sure he had left, they hurried back to Old Man Sun's room. When I opened the door, I saw a disciple wearing the Fonghua Villa disciple uniform putting on his shoes. He had just climbed up from Dr. Sun's bed and was startled to see Sun Linger coming in. He quickly shrank back into bed and lowered the curtain.
Who are you? Sun Linger walked to the bed and asked.
When the disciple heard it was Sun Linger, he breathed a sigh of relief and climbed out and jumped off the bed. Please forgive me, Miss Linger. I was sent by my young master. It turned out to be Jiangyu's man. So, the voice my grandfather made just now was from you? After confirming that the person was his, curiosity arose. Not only was Sun Linger curious, Suwon was also curious. Yes, I don't have any other skills, but I can change my voice. As long as it's a man's voice, young or old, I can imitate it. As long as I've heard it, I can imitate it. So, I didn't give myself away just now, did I? The young guard scratched his head embarrassedly and explained with a silly smile. When Suwon heard it, he realized it was a voice actor. Sure enough, voice actors are all monsters. Moreover, this young disciple's original voice was very nice, a very pure Qingshu accent. It's exactly the same as mine. Even my grandfather's tone is imitated. Not to mention you, Wushang, I believe it. Sun Linger was very excited, as if she had found something interesting. What's your name? In reply to Miss Linger, just call me Ah Hung. Ah Hung has a very handsome appearance. He doesn't look as tall as Jiangyu's other guards, and he should not be very old either. Ah Hung, can you imitate other people's voices? Suwon looked at him expectantly. Seeing that Miss Su and Miss Linger were so curious about him, Ah Hung felt proud. He had heard that the young master had a girl he liked and brought her back to Fonghua Villa. Today he finally got to see her. It's really beautiful. The young master has good taste. Miss Su, who do you want me to imitate in speaking? Ah Hung had been arranged by the young master to go to the medicine garden anyway, and he would stay here until Dr. Sun came back. Since I'm bored anyway, I might as well keep the two girls company to help me pass the time. Learn from your young master. The first person Suwon thought of was Jiangyu. Learning from the young master is easy, because the young master is the one he is most familiar with. Fengying, how's the task assigned to you going? Ah Hung did what he said. Not only did he imitate Jiangyu's voice perfectly, he even imitated his movements and expressions when he said those words. They are exactly the same. Amazing. Wow, so awesome. Why don't you learn from Su Mu? Have you seen him? Sun Linger wanted him to learn from Su Mu. I have seen him, but I only heard him say a few words. If I don't learn well, Miss Linger, please don't laugh at me. Su Mu is a big iceberg who is very frugal with words. Ah Hung is not usually a core guard beside Jiangyu, and usually stays in Jiaxing Pavilion. He doesn't have any outstanding martial arts skills, so he can't go out on missions, but he's good at ventriloquism. Now that he can help the young master, he's very happy. A yellow and greasy tongue coating indicates heat in the liver and gallbladder, while a yellow and dry tongue coating indicates heat in the spleen and stomach. It should be supplemented with. Ah Hung imitated Su Mu's tone and expression when he recited pharmacology, but he didn't know what medicinal herbs should be used for this symptom. Oh, Miss Linger, I can't say what comes after that. Did I imitate it well? The voice was similar, the expression was similar, but he couldn't imitate the indifference in Su Mu's eyes. Su Mu is a slow-moving person. Even if the sky seems to be falling, he can still pack his things in an orderly and leisurely manner. It looks exactly like it. Ah Hung, you are really amazing. Sun Linger gave him a thumbs up. Something to do, and kept pulling Ah Hung to learn how to talk like a human. Later, Jiangyu saw this scene when he arrived. His son Suwon was holding his head and watching Ah Hung learn to speak seriously, with a silly smile on his face. Sun Linger was the same, listening so attentively that she didn't notice until he walked up to her. Ah Hung was the first one to see the young master, and he jumped up from his seat in fright.
Young
master. Jiangyu's image in front of him was serious, and he admired and feared him. It is said that Ah Hung was also an abandoned baby who was unwanted by others. He is only 16 years old now. The old sect master trained these abandoned babies who had nowhere to go into Jiang Yu's confidence. Of course, the prerequisite is that Jiang Yu treats them very well, so they're willing to follow him. Why are you in such a hurry? Sit down, Jiang Yu said, and sat down opposite him. Ah Hung sat down carefully, sitting upright, in stark contrast to his cleverness just now. Ayu, why are you here? Suwon had originally planned to go to Fengyue Pavilion later because he had promised his grandfather to have dinner with him. Aren't you going to have dinner with your grandfather soon? I'll come to pick you up. Jiang Yu saw that his grandfather was in a stable condition, so he felt relieved and came out for a while. What are you talking about? You look so happy? Jiang Yu asked. We asked Ah Hung to show us his ventriloquism skills and asked him to imitate human speech. He did a great job, speaking exactly the same way. Suwon answered truthfully, and his tone revealed his admiration for Ah Hung. Who should I learn from? Jiang Yu poured himself a cup of tea and started drinking it. Imitating you don't even know it. Ah Hung imitated you so well that if I hadn't looked at his face, I would really have thought it was you. Suwon became more and more excited as he spoke, and Ah Hung became more and more nervous as he spoke. Girl, please take it easy. Jiang Yu raised his eyebrows when he heard this and asked with a smile. If you want to hear me talk, why don't you come to me in person? I'll tell you any time. His sudden cheesy love talk gave Sun Linger goosebumps. Can't help but complain. Hey, that's enough for the two of you. Suwon felt embarrassed, her ears turned red, and she glared at him. Jiang Yu smiled with satisfaction. Afterwards, Jiang Yu took Suwon's hand and left. Sun Linger reluctantly held her hand and acted coquettishly. Wan, after you finish your meal, remember to come back and accompany me. I'm alone in the medicine garden, and I'm scared. She was alone before, and she was not afraid, but now that Suwon is here, she is afraid. Okay, I'll come back. Suwon and Sun Linger get along very well, and they are very close. For Suwon, Sun Linger is her only good sister in this strange world in the true sense. Between girls is that simple. At the same time, several opera troupes arranged by Jiang Yu also arrived one after another. 30 women have been placed among them and will go up the mountain early tomorrow morning. There were 3 troupes in total, and only one team was composed entirely of real actors. The other 2 teams were mixed with temporary imposters, and the dozens of women were among them. They have already received the silver, 500 taels each, but they must keep it secret and follow the instructions. If this matter gets out, I don't know whether I will be able to spend the money alive. Warnings must be given. Only fear can keep one's mouth shut. At that time, the troupe will stay in Fengyue Villa for a long time until Dr. Sun brings back the antidote. Yu Wushang sighed. Jiang Yu forged some evidence and placed it on several elders whom he trusted deeply. Now Yu Wushang has begun to suspect and is investigating secretly. Jiang Yu placed several people around him. Once they were discovered, he would just insist that they were any of the elders' men and trigger an internal fight among them. After that, he would find a way to rescue the people. The 3 opera troupes, both men and women, and they were fully equipped, making it difficult to detect any clues. Arrange them directly to the hill where Fengyue Pavilion is located. There are several idle courtyards around Fengyue Pavilion that can be arranged. Every night they would come to Fengyue Pavilion to perform a play for the old master, and he would watch whatever the old master ordered. At that time, all the elders in the sect will come to watch the show. Using this opportunity, Jiang Yu will properly arrange the daily matters of taking the heart blood. Of course, to ensure that everything goes well, except for the women who have mixed in, all the others can sing. He will arrange several plays specifically for the disciples of Fengyue Villa, which is equivalent to a consolation performance. This was Suwon's idea. The little girl is very smart. Old sect leader took the heart blood on time, and his spirit was enough to support him to finish listening to a play. Besides, the old man had been itching to listen to some opera, and he fully obeyed. At night, the stage was set up. It snowed during the day, so Jiang Yu arranged for his disciples to clean up the snow. In the yard again, old master was seated under the eaves. They found a recliner, covered it with a thick layer of animal fur, and put a fox fur hat on him, wrapping him tightly. The elders arrived at the scene one after another and took their seats, expressing their respect and greetings to the old master. Although they were not convinced by Jiang Yu, they absolutely respected the old master. Yu Wushang has also come. Looking at the situation at Fenghua Pavilion, they really have set up a stage for the show. Su Wan and Su Mu sat together. Sun Linger couldn't join in the fun because she had to take care of Dr. Sun, who had caught a cold. She had complained and expressed regret towards Su Wan earlier. There's no other way. I have to do the whole thing. Su Wan also wrapped herself up tightly. Su Mu was beside her, very busy peeling longans for her to eat. Su Wan likes to eat longan, and she is also looking forward to watching the show. During the day, she chatted with the old sect leader and learned that he did not like scenes of fighting and killing, but liked to listen to scenes about family matters, love, and hate. He was really different from others. So she thought about staging a play herself for the old master to watch. Doesn't he like those melodramatic plays? She knows a lot about them, such as Chen Shimi and Wang Baochuan. I guarantee he will love them. She also told the old master that she wanted to stage a play for him based on some stories she had heard from the folks. Old master was delighted at the time and was looking forward to what kind of plays Su Wan would write. Jiang Yu and Jiang Yunhe accompanied the old sect master. Jiang Yu saw his second brother Su Mu peeling longan for Su Wan. The relationship between the two siblings was so good that he felt jealous. He also wants to peel longan for Wan Wan. Su Wan felt his gaze and blinked at him quickly without any hesitation, which was seen by the old sect leader and Su Mu. On one side there was a smile of relief and satisfaction, and on the other side there was a sour feeling. Su Mu peeled the last longan left on the plate and impatiently threw the shell into the garbage bone dish. When Su Wan saw that the longan was gone, he waved and asked someone to send another plate over, but Su Mu stopped him. Wan Wan, you should eat less longan. The weather is dry in winter and eating too much will cause internal heat. Having a brother who studies traditional Chinese medicine, Su Wan was like this because he could not eat too much of anything and had to focus on health. So he had no choice but to give up. The play finally began. The old master had a look of anticipation on his face. The originally not very quiet courtyard suddenly became more lively. The female roles came out stepping in steps. Their perfect singing gave people goosebumps. It was indeed a script about family affairs and unfaithful men, and the old sect leader read it with great interest. But for the elders of Fenghua Villa, this was a huge torment. They are all tough guys, heroes of the level, and they all like to watch passionate dramas with fighting and killing. As a result, every time they can only accompany the old master to watch such boring dramas, the listeners feel drowsy and have no enthusiasm at all. If they didn't dare to refute or offend the old master, they would have to leave without hearing the end. However, Su Wan was watching it very seriously. Girls are interested in this kind of thing. The more outrageous it is, the more she wants to watch it. In order to discuss the plot with the old sect master, she simply moved to his side, cracking melon seeds, and the two of them chatted enthusiastically. This man is unacceptable. He is not good at despising the poor and loving the rich. The old master pointed at the male protagonist on the stage. Yes, grandfather. This woman too. Why did she have to hang herself on a crooked tree? How could she give up the entire forest for a tree? The two of them complained one after another and expressed their agreement with each other. Jiang Yu smiled helplessly yet dotingly at the side, thinking, this old and young are really unique. They were the only two watching seriously in the whole audience, while the rest were all looking confused and bored. The play was coming to an end, and the old sect leader fell asleep while watching. Su Mu came over to feel his pulse, and fortunately, there was nothing wrong. Jiang Yucai waved his hand to stop them, and everyone was relieved and went back home. What a sin! I have to come again in a few days, and I don't know what will happen next. In the next few days, Su Wan found something to do. She found a drama troupe, told them the story of Xue Pinggui and Wang Baochuan, and asked them to perform it. This story is a rare and good script for the drama troupe. If it is performed seriously in the future, it will definitely become a household name. So, Su Wan stayed in the troupe for 3 days and watched them rehearse several times before they achieved that effect. She then wrote down all the main lines, even brought out the song she had learned in modern times and asked them to sing it at the beginning. Not to mention, when Jong-yu and the others heard that Soo-won was rehearsing a play, they were all looking forward to seeing what good play she could put on. However, Soo-won did not dare to take credit for it. She said that she read it in a folk story book and it was not her own idea. Soo-moo just smiled when he saw his sister struggling there. He would have to watch and listen carefully then to see if his little sister had this ability. As soon as Sun Linga heard that her good sister was rehearsing a play, she decided to join in the fun. Soon it was time to watch the show. In the evening, the stage was set up, the banquet was prepared, and the elders arrived on time. Old sect leader also promised that he must listen to the whole play rehearsed by Soo-yaru and would not fall asleep halfway through. Everyone doted on Soo-won, which made Soo-won nervous. She smiled and said, "Don't expect too much. The higher your expectations, the greater your disappointment. No, there is a first time for everything. Grandfather believes in you." The old sect master is now Soo-won's absolute #1 supporter. Her position in his heart is equal to that of Jong-yu, and there is even a suspicion that she exceeds that. After all, he had never comforted Jong-yu like this. From childhood to adulthood, if he did well, it was good, and if he did not do well, it was bad. As soon as the play began, the two protagonists came out and sang a song together. The song was beautifully sung and the lyrics were good, and it immediately attracted everyone's attention because this kind of model was the first time they had seen it, and the style was unique. Old sect leader heard these lyrics. He muttered something interesting. Then asked Soo-won, "Girl, are these the lyrics you wrote?" Upon hearing this, Soo-won quickly denied it. No, it was someone else who did it. I was just a porter. This person has really great literary talent to be able to write such beautiful lyrics. But you, girl, are also very capable. It's great that you can present it. When the old master praised the author, he also did not forget to praise Soo-won. The song ended. The performance began according to the script, starting with the throwing of the ball to find a bride, with several highlights. After that, the two protagonists stayed together despite the gap between their two families, and the villains in the script came out one after another to cause trouble. After a high five, they severed their relationship, and the rich young lady became a poor wife, who knew nothing when she first arrived at the cold kiln. Then there are a series of misunderstandings and setbacks later on, with too many turning points. It can be said that the whole process is full of ups and downs, and there are many conflicts and contradictions. Everyone expressed sympathy and heartache for Wang Baochuan's experience, and her unswerving love for the male protagonist was also worthy of praise, which even made Sun Linga cry. In the end, the protagonists finally reunited after all the hardships they had endured. The good guys were rewarded, and the bad guys got the punishment they deserved. Not to mention the old sect leader, who was watching it seriously. Even Soo-moo was watching it intently, and the elders as well were also listening to this play for the first time and found it interesting. It involved some battlefields, fighting and killing, and the hero's bravery and fighting skills attracted them a lot. They were not bored at all, and watched the whole thing. Sun Linga cried and laughed and cried, but she only felt sorry for the heroine and could not sympathize with the hero. She also said, Baochuan has been waiting in the cold kiln for 18 years, and after he came back, he actually flirted with her and tested her. It's really annoying. From a woman's perspective, this point is indeed hard to accept. Because of this, Sun Linga was depressed for several days. She couldn't help thinking about the plot and became sentimental. Old sect master was so happy to watch it that he really didn't fall asleep halfway through and watched it until the end. After finishing, he asked Soo-won if there were any similar stories to read. There are so many of them. Soo-won's hands are full of scripts, including the female prince consort, getting into the wrong sedan chair, but marrying the right man, and everything else. However, the old master's health still cannot afford to work so hard all the time, so the opera can only be listened to every few days. When Soo-won was free, he would accompany Jong-yu in Fonghua Pavilion to take care of the old master and tell him stories from Journey to the West. When Soo-moo has nothing to do, he will listen to it. This kind of mythological story is always very attractive, no matter when it is told. Unknowingly, more than half a month has passed. Dr. Sun has been in Laming Mountain for several days, but no news has been received. He stayed indoors for half a month, and Yu Wushang became suspicious again. Recently, he was busy collecting evidence to eliminate dissidents. But he has always ignored Fengyue Pavilion. The old man seems to be in better spirits day by day. How can he look like he is about to die? Even if he is not panicking anymore, he will panic sooner or later. He couldn't be sure whether the matter was exposed or not, because he was caught red-handed when he secretly investigated the elders of the Zhongzi sect and the Yizhi sect. He suspected that the two were also planning to attack the sect leader, and it turned out that Jiang Yu was the one who interfered and successfully provoked an internal fight. One party is suspicious, while the other party feels distrusted and feels heartbroken. The next day, Yu Wushang came to the medicine garden again, wanting to see where Sun Beta had gone because even if he had a cold, he wouldn't stay at home for half a month. Jiang Yu instructed Sun Linger that if she really couldn't hide it, she didn't need to hide it and just say openly that Dr. Sun had left Fengyue Villa. Because Jiang Yu has already received the news that Dr. Sun is on his way back and will arrive in 3 days at most, and the antidote is already in hand. Jiang Yu was afraid of problems, so he sent 2 more groups of people to ensure that Dr. Sun returned to Fengyue Villa safely. Yu Wushang discovered that Sun Beidou was not there. He had a bad feeling. He also sent someone to Fengyue Pavilion to investigate secretly and discovered a shocking secret. Jiang Yu kept a group of women and took their heart blood every day for the old master to take, so this is the reason why the old master is getting better and better in spirit? This is not a prescription for detoxification, but think about it the other way around. Sun Beta disappeared for half a month, hiding it from his eyes, but in fact he went to look for an antidote. But he didn't know whether the antidote was available. By the time he reacted and sent people down the mountain to inquire about the news, Dr. Sun had already entered the Mo River Basin and reached the territory of Fengyue Villa, so he could not take any action. Moreover, his people found out that Dr. Sun did not come back alone, but brought someone back with him, who was Yi Qinggu, the person who sold him the poison. Once Yi Qinggu came forward to accuse him of plotting to murder the old sect leader, those elders who supported him would surely turn against him. It just so happened that he had recently fallen out with several of them. Thinking carefully about the cause and effect, it turned out that it was all the conspiracy of that kid Jiang Yu. It was he who deliberately provoked the incident. He used the opera troupe as a shield and secretly arranged for a group of women to go up the mountain to get the heart's blood to save his life. It was all Yu Wushang's fault for being too slow to react. He really couldn't figure out what went wrong. How could such a secret be exposed? Yu Wushang knew that if he didn't leave now, he might not be able to leave. He couldn't just sit and wait for Yi Qinggu to go up the mountain. This darn woman would do anything for money. Because he paid enough money. Old master gets better. He will never let him go. If he doesn't find a way to leave, he will never have the chance to make a comeback. That night, Yu Wushang packed some things, put on his night clothes, and planned to leave Fengyue Villa without being noticed. The most important thing was to save his life. But Jiang Yu is not a fool. He has already set up a tight net. Even if he can escape from Fengyue Villa, he cannot escape from Mo. But Yu Wushang was not easy to defeat. His martial arts skills should not be underestimated. Several waves of people were unable to stop him and were seriously injured by him. After he broke through the siege several times, he found that Jiang Yunhe had been waiting for him for a long time. Yu Wushang saw Jiang Yunhe standing in the night with a sword in his hand. He stood on a huge rock, his robe rustling in the wind. Looking at the secret guards who surrounded him, he knew it would be difficult for him to escape today. Why? Jiang Yu doesn't dare to come and stop me personally. He sneered. Uncle, you misunderstood me. How could I not stop you when you ran away late at night? Jiang Yu walked out from the darkness, wearing a silver fox fur cloak. There was also sarcasm on his face, and his words were also sarcastic. Escape? When did I say I escaped? As an elder, can I enter and leave Fengyue Villa as I please? Yu Wushang was still calmly arguing. Of course, but there are some things recently that require my uncle's cooperation in the investigation, so you can't leave Fengyue Villa for the time being. Please go back and we can talk calmly. Jiang Yu gave him a chance and decided not to start a war for the time being. What if I don't? Yu Wushang knew what he would face if he stayed, so he had to give it a try. Then don't blame us for forcing you to stay. Jiang Yu put away his playful smile and became serious in an instant. He and Zhang Yunhe looked at each other, and Zhang Yunhe drew his sword and pointed it at Yu Wushang.
Humph, what?
You want others to solve your own grudges for you? Yu Wushang thought that he would fight with him personally. But before Jiang Yu could say anything, Zhang Yunhe spoke first. Stop talking nonsense. Don't you know what you have done to him? His injuries haven't fully healed yet, and you let him fight you with injuries all over his body. Aren't you bullying him? We were both taught by our master, so today we are competing to see who is better. Zhang Yunhe really couldn't stand him and didn't like to listen to his nonsense. Yu Wushang was speechless. He raised his sword and pointed it at Zhang Yunhe, accepting the challenge. Between the two was about to break out, and Jiang Yu found a suitable place and watched the battle with his hands in his pockets. Sparks flew when the cold weapons collided. At first, both of them were just testing each other. It was only after hundreds of rounds that they really got into the game. However, Yu Wushang had fought several battles along the way, and he must have suffered some physical disadvantages. As time went on, Zhang Yunhe used all his strength in every move, and he gradually could not resist and was defeated. Finally, Zhang Yunhe took the opportunity to give him a palm. Yu Wushang suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood and knelt on the ground with one knee supporting his sword. The palm strike was so fierce that his internal organs were displaced, and he was no longer able to resist. Yu Wushang covered his chest and coughed continuously. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth with his sleeve. He continued to smile contemptuously and then threw the sword aside. The winner is the king, the loser is the bandit. It's my bad luck. He didn't want to resist in vain anymore, so he might as well give up, preserve his strength, and admit defeat first. Since he has surrendered, and his crimes have not been made public, they will not be tortured into confessing. They are not a mob like him. In the end, Yu Wushang was tied up and brought back to the mountain. The more he thought about it along the way, the more unwilling he felt. Which step went wrong? He was brought back to the mountain. He was directly locked up in a dungeon and placed under strict guard. From beginning to end, no one knew that Yu Wushang had been arrested. The next afternoon, Dr. Sun brought Yi Qinggu back to Fengyue Villa, and Jiang Yu led people to the suspension bridge to greet them. Su Wan and Sun Linger were also there. On the bridge, there was Sun Beidou at the head, followed by a group of people. Next to him stood a grandma in strange clothes. She was dressed in the style of a Miao village, with many silver ornaments hanging on her body. She walked in a very dignified manner and had a petite figure. She held the hand of Dr. Sun and smiled happily. When they got closer, everyone saw that Dr. Sun was stiff all over and looked as if he had been kidnapped. Sun Linger and Su Wan looked at each other, swallowed their saliva, and said they didn't know what was going on.
You.
Did your grandfather get kidnapped? Su Wan leaned close to Sun Linger's ear and complained. That should be the case. Sun Linger felt the same way. Dr. Sun, you must have had a hard time on the journey. Who is this? Jiang Yu knew that this was Yi Qinggu. It was because of her poison that his grandfather was in such a state. However, without knowing the full picture, I cannot comment. This is my fellow apprentice sister, Yi Qinggu. I brought her up the mountain this time to help the old master detoxify. Yi Qinggu walked closer and looked at you, only to find that she was well maintained. She was 60 years old, but there were almost no wrinkles on her face. She looked to be in her 40s or 50s. There was a red mole on the tip of her nose, which could be seen through her eyebrows. When she was young, she was a charming beauty. I am still Sun Beta's wife. Please call me Madam Sun from now on. Do you understand? Also, who is Linger? Where is my little granddaughter? Yi Qinggu was very outgoing and said directly in front of everyone that she was the wife of Dr. Sun, and he also searched everywhere for Sun Linger with his eyes. As soon as she saw the girl in the light yellow clothes, she let go of Sun Beta's hand and walked towards her, holding her hand intimately and touching it again and again. Oh, you must be Linger. You are just like your name, lively and pretty, So pretty. From now on, I will be your grandmother, and I will treat you well. Sun Linger was a little confused. She smiled awkwardly and tried to pull her hand out, but found that she was being suppressed so tightly that she couldn't pull it out at all. Obviously, Grandma Yi looked calm and composed, and even her hands didn't seem to have any blue veins. One could only say that her skills were unfathomable. The main thing is that Dr. Sun did not deny this fact, which was considered as his tacit agreement with Yi Qingwu's statement. This news came too suddenly, and everyone was a little unable to accept it. Okay, let's talk about these things later. Come with me to detoxify the old master first, don't delay. Dr. Sun's eyes were evasive. Grandma Yi Qingwu immediately turned back with a smile and once again affectionately held Dr. Sun's arm. Okay, I'll do whatever you say. But you can't break your promise to me. Although I don't know what Dr. Sun promised her, my intuition tells me that it must have been quite reluctant for him. Don't worry, I will do what I promised you. Dr. Sun was old, and his face was red. Then let them do it now, Grandma Yi said coquettishly. Dr. Sun's expression was hard to describe, and even when the words came to his lips, he couldn't bring himself to speak. But Yi Qingwu would not leave unless he said it. Finally, he closed his eyes and said to Zhang Yu with a look of readiness to die, Ayu, go and get ready. We are going to get married. Please help prepare a wedding banquet to make it lively. When these words were spoken, everyone felt as if they were struck by lightning. What the heck? You went out and brought back a wife? Are you sure? Zhang Yu wanted to confirm again. Sure, I promised her that I would marry her. Don't say anything else. Just get ready. Dr. Sun couldn't care less. He wouldn't live for many more years anyway, so he just had to make do with it. For the sake of the old master, he had to endure it a little. Dr. Sun was so embarrassed that he quickly pulled Yi Qingwu past them and prepared to go to Fengyue Pavilion to save people. Seeing that he had admitted it in public, Grandma Yi smiled like a flower. As she left, she turned back and reminded Zhang Yu, Young man, do it better. I like excitement. The more excitement, the better, Grandpa, Sun Linger shouted loudly from behind. She still wanted to ask clearly. After all, she was the granddaughter, and she had a grandmother for no apparent reason. She still wanted to know the whole process. Linger, Grandpa will explain it to you later. Dr. Sun replied helplessly. Zhang Yu and Zhang Yunhe beside him looked at each other. Although they didn't know what had happened, seeing that Dr. Sun was so passive, they knew that he had paid too much for the safety of the old master. Because they wanted to detoxify the old sect leader, everyone followed. On the way, Suwon asked Sun Linger if she disliked Grandma Yi. Sun Linger denied it, and then told her a secret that few people knew. Wanwan, I don't object to Grandpa marrying Grandma Yi. In fact, I am not Grandpa's biological granddaughter. I only know that since I can remember it was Grandpa who taught me. He is the only relative in my memory. Grandpa said that my father died, and my mother became seriously ill. Before she died, she entrusted me to him. He has always treated me as his own granddaughter. I don't know what misunderstanding there was between Grandpa and Grandma Yi, which led to him never marrying in his life, and Grandma Yi is never married either. But from what I know about Grandpa, if he didn't have any thoughts in his mind, he wouldn't agree to this marriage. It seems like he's reluctant, but in fact he's just embarrassed and wants to save face. Sun Linger was worthy of being raised by her grandfather, and she knew him very well. After hearing her say this, Suwon could understand. Everyone came to Fengyue Pavilion, but was turned away by Yi Qingwu, and even Dr. Sun dared to leave. She asked Fengying and the others to move their home to Fengyue Villa, as if she was afraid that Sun Beidou would run away. A pile of his own things, and finally carried a large pile of things into the old master's room. Then, smoke came out of the room, and in an instant the entire courtyard of Fengyue Pavilion was filled with smoke. However, the smoke did not seem to be choking, and it even had a faint fragrance. While Yi Qingwu was detoxifying inside, Sun Linger had the opportunity to ask her grandfather what had happened. Dr. Sun couldn't hide it, so he just told the truth. It's a long story, and it has to start from when I was young. I won't tell you the details. Anyway, I agreed to marry her willingly. No one forced me. She is not a bad person, but just a little greedy. When Yu Wushang went to find her, she didn't know that she had to give the poison to the old master first. If she knew it was related to me, she would not agree. Duent blame her. She didn't do it on purpose. Anyway, as long as the old master's poison is cured, everything will be fine. Specific details. When he was young, it was decades ago. Dr. Sun said one thing and did another. He clearly took advantage of the situation, but it felt like he was being kidnapped. In fact, if he doesn't want to, who can force him to do such an important thing in his life? Grandpa, as long as you like it, you're so old anyway. It's not bad to have someone to accompany you. Sun Linger was the first to express her opinion. She would not object. As long as Grandpa was happy, people should not have any regrets in their life. She clearly remembered that her grandfather had a treasured handkerchief that had been there for decades, and the fabric was almost brittle. When he was a child, he often took it out to look at it. Later, he treasured it more and was reluctant to even touch it. He just held the box and looked at it. She was also naughty at that time. She was curious about what secret her grandfather had, so she secretly went to look at the box and found a handkerchief inside with a Chinese character, Wu, embroidered on the corner. Now she thought that it must have belonged to Grandma Yi. Grandma Yi was in there for nearly an hour. When she came out, the whole room was filled with smoke, all pouring out from the crack in the door. The disciples of Fengyue Villa thought there was a fire, so they came over with water to put out the fire. Grandma Yi walked out from the mist, holding a bowl in her hand, and the silver ornaments on her body made a jingling sound. The bowl was filled with the black blood that she had let out from the old sect master's body. It was pitch black, and it showed how serious the poisoning was. I've already given him the antidote, but the antidote alone is not enough. The poison has remained in his body for 5 years. I can only draw out the poisonous blood from his body little by letting blood from his fingertips and then using my specially prepared incense. Now the poison has been eliminated. He just needs to recuperate well and eat more nourishing food to replenish his blood, but be careful not to overdo it. He will be able to get out of bed and walk around in a month at most. Now that the poison was removed, Jiang Yu felt relieved. His grandfather was finally fine. He walked into the room immediately and came to the bed. The smoke soon dissipated, and he saw the old master lying on the bed. His expression was very gentle, and he seemed to have a faint smile on his face. His brows were no longer wrinkled in pain in his sleep, but a feeling of comfort after surviving a disaster. The poison was removed, the dark spots under his eyes disappeared, and he felt better. He could finally sleep peacefully. 10 of my grandfather's fingers and toes were bandaged. It seemed that Grandma Yi had really worked hard to squeeze them out bit by bit. As soon as Dr. Sun and his companions came in, they first took the old master's pulse. The pulse had indeed returned to normal, but his body was still very weak and the toxins had been cleared. Well, the poison has been removed, and the old master is saved. Hey, you old man, you don't believe me, right? It's really that serious. You keep asking me questions. When have I ever regretted what I promised you? Grandma Yi stood behind with her arms folded, looking unhappy. Dr. Sun coughed twice awkwardly and explained with his head down. I know, I didn't disbelieve you. I've been following you for so many days. My old bones can't take it anymore. Why don't you take me to have a rest? Grandma Ye's domineering look now is in stark contrast to her previous look when she fell on the bridge. Okay, I'll take you there, okay, Auntie? Dr. Sun thought. I chose it myself. What else can I do? I can only coax her. AMU, I'm leaving this to you. Please keep a close eye on it. Before leaving, Dr. Sun gave Su Mu some instructions. Everyone looked at Dr. Sun's receding figure and followed Grandma Yi timidly. Everyone could only sigh that there was another henpecked husband in the world. Old sect master's poison has been cured. There is no need to rush to hand over Fengyue Villa to Jiangyu. However, the Chinese New Year is only 10 days away, and Suwon is wondering if he can return to Xiangzhou before the New Year's Eve. She has been away for several months and misses home very much. But the reality is that 10 days is definitely not enough. Grandma Yi wanted to hold the wedding banquet with Dr. Sun on New Year's Eve, and Jiang Yu had already given instructions to help them hold it in a lively manner and to include all the necessary etiquette. However, while these things were being prepared, there was another thing that had to be resolved, which was how to deal with Yu Wushang. After he had been missing for 3 days, he was finally brought out of the dungeon. Jiang Yu called all the elders to Wuji Hall and then asked Grandma Yi to come and identify Yu Wushang's crime of murdering the old sect master. Yu Wushang's hands and feet were shackled with iron chains. When he appeared in Wuji Palace in a disheveled state, all the elders were shocked. Several of them even criticized Jiang Yu for being arrogant and not taking them seriously, saying that Yu Wushang was also an elder of Fengyue Villa and he should not treat him like that. Specific details. She only knew that Jiang Yu stayed in Wuji Palace for a long time that day. It was sometimes noisy and sometimes quiet inside. In the end, after being pointed out by Grandma Yi, Yu Wushang confessed to his crimes. When they learned that he was willing to harm the old leader's life in order to gain the position of the leader, those elders who had been stubborn fell silent instantly because the old leader held a very high position in their hearts, and he was the one who led them to build this industry and glory. According to the old sect master's instructions after he woke up, he planned to destroy Yu Wushang's martial arts, drain away his internal strength, and turn him into a useless man from then on. He would not kill him. After all, it was he who brought him back and trained him personally. Although the old sect leader was disappointed in him, he would not take his life. But in order to prevent him from having any other ill intentions, he will be imprisoned in the courtyard forever and will not be allowed to leave without reason. At that time, the old sect leader will send disciples to take turns guarding the place. He, a useless man without any martial arts skills, will not be able to cause any trouble. For a martial artist in his prime, the loss of his internal strength will be too much of a loss. He will only be a weak and sickly person and will not be able to leave Fengyue Villa. On the day of execution, it was carried out jointly by all the elders. The chief elder personally deposed him, and Jiang Yu watched from the side. Yu Wushang knew that the old sect leader would not take his life, but he thought that at most he would be imprisoned, and he would still have a chance to get out again. However, destroying his martial arts and inner strength now would be equivalent to turning him into a useless person, and would end all his hopes. In fact, what he wants is not only Fengyue Villa, he has many other reasons. Who inherits Fengyue Villa will not actually be the reason for his complete evil transformation. It is only part of the reason. Why later? Yu Wushang was restrained. This was the first time he looked so out of control since he was detained. He struggled hard, not wanting to have his martial arts skills crippled. In the beginning, he was glaring and shouting, but in the end, he actually turned into begging them to just kill him. He believed that his martial arts skills were the only thing he could be proud of in his life. For a martial artist to have his martial arts skills destroyed was more painful than dying directly. Jiang Yu watched his embarrassment coldly the whole time, but he was not soft-hearted at all. This was what he deserved, and this was the heaviest punishment for him. Yu Wushang's martial arts and internal strength were ultimately wasted. He vomited a large amount of blood, fell to the ground unconscious, and was then carried back to his own yard. In his courtyard, there were all the necessary servants, who would watch him 12 hours a day to prevent him from committing suicide. Will not be treated unfairly in terms of food, clothing, housing, and transportation, but he will have to live his whole life accepting the fact that he is a useless person. The matter has finally come to an end, and now the entire Fengyue Villa is filled with a rare atmosphere of joy. Even though Grandma Yi is old, she still loves beauty. She always asks Su Wan and Sun Linger to help her choose wedding clothes and accessories. Not only do you have to choose your own, you also have to choose Dr. Sun's. Old sect leader heard that Dr. Sun was about to get married. He was happy for him from the bottom of his heart, and he also instructed Jiang Yu to prepare a decent betrothal gift for Grandma Yi Qingwu on behalf of Dr. Sunday. As for Dr. Sun himself, there is no need to worry about him. Just keep his little fortune as a dowry for Miss Linger. Of course Jiang Yu did as he was told. Hearing that Grandma Yi liked money, He prepared more than a dozen boxes of silver, as well as more than a dozen boxes of gold and silver jewelry, and more than a dozen boxes of silks and satins, which made Grandma Ye's eyes light up. Fenghua Villa is indeed wealthy and powerful. It is worthy of the fact that it controls the shipping routes. It is such a huge wealth. As for Suwon, he could only stay in Fenghua Villa to celebrate the new year, and it was also the old master who strongly requested that Suwon stay to celebrate the new year. Jiang Yu cherished every moment with Suwon because he had received letters from the front line. As the eldest son of Duke Zhong's mansion, his family was a family of military generals and marquises who had served the country for generations. As the eldest son, he must not be absent at such a time. Moreover, everyone in Kyoto knew that the Prince of Duke Jiang had been learning skills in Fenghua Villa since he was a child and had a lot of abilities. If he didn't go to the front line, it would be difficult for those clans to accept him as the prince. Therefore, at the latest after the new year, he must set out for the front line. Suwon still missed home very much. She didn't know whether her parents and brothers had missed her. She thought about writing a letter and sending it back to tell them that she was spending the new year at Fenghua Villa and her second brother would be there too. She told them not to worry about her and that she would go home as soon as possible. She asked her second brother to write with her, mainly because her handwriting was not very beautiful. The letter has been sent out, and it is estimated that Xiangzhou will not receive it until the beginning of the new year. Little did she know that her two brothers at home were almost furious after not hearing from her for so long. Suyun had already finished his studies at Umingsala and was originally waiting for Suwon to come back so that they could discuss the location selection for opening a restaurant next year. However, who knew that this girl had grown up and no longer depended on her brother and never came home after she had a lover. And there is Su-yi. During the few months that Suwon was away from home, his reputation in Xiangzhou has become more and more famous, and now he has become a well-known celebrity in Xiangzhou. As for Su's father and mother, ever since they received their daughter's letter saying that she had to accompany Jiang Yu to Zhongzhou for urgent matters and asked them not to worry about her, how could they not worry about her? As the Chinese New Year is approaching, the Su family feels for the first time that the festive atmosphere is so bland and deserted. In the past, there were many people in the house, but we had no money. But during the Chinese New Year, it was very lively. The children were noisy, and they didn't feel bad, even if they didn't have new clothes to wear. Instead, they were all happy as long as they had meat to eat. Suwon spent his first New Year after returning last year. The family was together. The brothers and sisters were friendly and respectful to each other. Who would have thought that before the end of the year, some took up new offices, some went traveling, some joined the army, and some did business. The children the more things seem to happen, and they, as parents, become the ones who wait at home every day. It snowed in Xiangzhou. Although the snow was small and did not pile up, it only happens once a year. The mood and feeling were there. Su-yun and Su-yi sat under the corridor, watching the falling snow. Farong Cottage was quiet. The two brothers sat there, looking 60% similar, but with different temperaments. Su-yi, do you think Suwon can come back before New Year's Eve? She has been gone for almost 4 months. Su-yun counted on his fingers with a resentful look on his face. I don't know either. Won hasn't written to me for a long time. But she is with my second brother, so there shouldn't be any problems. Su-yi didn't have a sullen face like Su-yun. He was better at hiding his emotions. There's nothing wrong with her being with my second brother, but the key is that Jiang Yu is also here. Don't you think he's going too far? Is there anyone like him? Our family didn't agree with their relationship, but he took my sister everywhere all day. What does he mean? Don't let me see him, or I will beat him to death. Su-yun became more and more excited, and his sleeves were rolled up. In his eyes, Jiang Yu is now a shameless villain. Seeing this, Su-yi snorted calmly. You're still beating him. Can you beat him? Who do you look down on? I tell you, if he wants to take advantage of our Wan, he is destined to consciously bear my anger as a brother. Don't fight back when you hit him. Don't talk back when you are scolded. That's the most basic thing. At this moment, Su-yun wished he could stab a villain on the spot to vent his anger. It's just his personality. Suwon has unknowingly established an unshakable position in his heart. Not only does he regard her as a sister, but he also has a bit of admiration for her. Soo-won is so amazing, a good moneymaker, and he can look at the overall situation when doing business. He knows a lot at a young age, and he is good at comforting people, taking care of their emotions, and giving them correct guidance. Unconsciously, he has developed a dependence on Soo-won. Well, what you said makes sense. I wish you success. Soo-yi didn't want to say useless things to him, so he simply went back to his room to paint. As eve, the medicine garden was hung with red silk and red lanterns, and firecrackers were blasting in an atmosphere of joy. People started beating gongs and drums in the medicine garden early in the morning, and Grandma Yi put on her carefully selected wedding dress, a phoenix coronet, and a bridal robe. Seeing her wearing ethnic minority costumes on weekdays. She is old and quirky, like a drama queen, but she is also very capable and has a strong aura, just like the legendary Meow woman who is good at using goo. It is hard to guess and see through her, which makes people feel that Grandma Yi must play an important role in the Meow tribe. Looking at her now, she has put on her wedding dress, and I can actually feel that she has become more graceful, as if her edges and sharpness have been smoothed out. She is smiling happily, and her eyes are filled with happiness. She held Soo-won and Sun Linger's hands, tears welling up in her eyes with excitement, and said tremblingly that she had been waiting for this moment for more than 40 years. No matter what the reason was for her and Dr. Sun to miss each other for so many years, it is fortunate that they finally got what they wanted in their lifetime. I wish that all lovers in the world can get what they want. Soo-won watched the two of them get married. Dr. Sun must have been very happy at this moment, and he couldn't suppress the smile on his face. Perhaps some people do not understand that, from today's secular perspective, if a person of such age still goes through the trouble of getting married, he will definitely be laughed at. However, in Soo-won's opinion, this is too romantic. Today is a good day for Elder Sun and Grandma Yi, and it is also New Year's Eve. In the evening, Jong-yu will organize all the elders of Fongyue Villa to have a New Year's Eve dinner. This is the tradition of Fongyue Villa. Since the old master is still recuperating, it is his turn to take charge of this matter. After experiencing what happened to Yu Wushang, these elders have restrained themselves a lot. The old sect leader seemed to have given Yu Wushang a lenient punishment, but in fact, this was more painful for Yu Wushang than death. This also shows that the old sect leader only looks easy to get along with on a daily basis, but in fact he is not merciful at all, and is most capable of killing people and destroying their hearts. Old sect leader has recovered, so there is no question of passing on the throne. So even if they are dissatisfied with Jong-yu, they will not have an unpleasant argument with him. Even without the identity of the young master, he still has the identity of the prince of the Duke of Jeong, so they have to respect him. So, for the New Year's Eve dinner in the evening, only Jong Yunha, Soo-mu, and the two girls ate together. After Dr. Sun and Grandma Yi finished their work, they changed into casual clothes and came to Jiaxing Pavilion to have the New Year's Eve dinner together. At that time, the Su family's 4 members invited their uncle's family to celebrate the New Year, and the house seemed a little less deserted. Soo-yeon has already been planning that after Soo-won comes back, he will ignore her for a month. After Jong-yu finished his social engagements, he went to find Soo-won immediately. He prepared a lot of fireworks for Soo-won and planned to take her to set them off. The Chinese New Year must have a Chinese New Year atmosphere, and this is also the first year he and she have spent together. Before this, the old master specially called these younger generations over to give them New Year's money. He gave Soo-won a big red envelope wrapped in red paper, a thick stack, thicker than Jong-yu's. This was the New Year's money given to her by the old master. When she opened it, she found a thick stack of silver bills inside, as much as 10,000 taels. Since it's New Year's money, she won't be polite. Soo-won was still thinking that since she had come to Zhongzhou, she would find some time after the New Year to go down the mountain to Zhongzhou City and open the Yuantang workshop. She would set up a large workshop in Zhongzhou and invite a capable person to manage it, just like the business model of Xiangzhou. Xiangzhou was too far away from Zhongzhou and the reach was not that far, so she could only set up a workshop in Xiangzhou according to the original plan and take charge of the sales in the central region of Jin State. in Kyoto, and she has set a small goal to open up the market there this year. It is estimated that the return to Xiangzhou will be 2 months late. Su-won thought that with fourth brother's temper, he would be furious. How should he explain to him then? Forget it, let's talk about it when the time comes. At this time, on the Yu County embankment in the Xuanhe River Basin, in a simple wooden house, the charcoal fire was crackling. Su Jing was wearing a thick cloak, and it was snowing outside. On New Year's Day, he was still reading official documents by candlelight. Next to him was a plate of dumplings. Half of them were eaten, and the other half was already cold. Shizi opened the door, with a lantern in his hand, and breathed out. Seeing that his master was still busy with work, he said helplessly, "Sir, it's almost midnight. Let's go back home quickly, or the snow will get heavy and the roads will be hard to walk on." Su Jing looked up after hearing that. He saw Shizi had a resentful look on his face, and smiled embarrassedly. "Okay, let's go. Remember to put out the charcoal fire and don't leave any sparks." At the same time, on the border battlefield, Su Chen, wearing armor, and a group of soldiers were warming themselves around a campfire. It was also snowing here, and the temperature was as low as -10 degrees Celsius. The north wind was howling like a man-eating monster. Tonight is the New Year's Eve. The commander, out of sympathy for the soldiers, has specially arranged thousands of fat sheep to make mutton soup for the soldiers. Everyone was drinking mutton soup, and there were not only big, white steamed buns but also meat dumplings. For marching were already difficult, but everyone was satisfied just having the broth to drink. At this moment, it seems that it is snowing in many places, especially in Zhongzhou. Nearing midnight, heavy snow fell. Everyone was preparing to go to the highest hill in Fenghua Villa to set off fireworks. As they were walking on the road, their hair suddenly turned white. "Wow, it's snowing so heavily." Sun Linger suddenly grabbed Sumu's hand and shook it excitedly. "The snow is really outrageous, to the extent that it affects people's vision. Fortunately, everyone will be able to reach the destination soon. Jiangyu has already made arrangements. As soon as the time comes, they will start lighting the fireworks." There was a pavilion on the mountain which was perfect for everyone to hide from the snow. But in just a short while, a thin layer of snow accumulated on the ground. There were 2 fires in the pavilion and hot milk to drink, so no one felt cold, even though they were wearing cloaks. Jiangyu saw that Su-won's fox fur, hair, and even eyelashes were covered with snow. He stretched out his hand to brush it away, but he was a step too late. Su-mu had already reached there. He used his hands to gently brush off the fallen snow on Su-won's body. Jiangyu's hand, which was stretched in the air, froze in place awkwardly. Jiang Yunhe watched from behind and smiled unkindly. "In front of the person's own brother, it is not right and proper, and I have no place to use my energy." "Are you cold?" Su-mu asked his sister. He was wearing a pure white cloak, with a cool temperament and handsome looks. On this snowy night, he looked like the moon god descending to earth. "It's not cold, I'm wearing very warm clothes," second brother. Su-won felt like he was almost wrapped up like a rice ball. How could he be cold? On the other side, Sun Linger was tidying up the fallen snow on her body. Looking at the scene where Su-mu and Su-won, the brother and sister, had such a good relationship, she felt sad. "I'm not jealous of Su-won, I just think that sometimes being too dull is not a good thing." After so long, has he really not been able to see anyone or anything other than medical skills? No, he still cares a lot about his family, but he doesn't care about relationships. But it doesn't matter. Sun Linger is a proactive person. She won't stand there stupidly waiting for him to come to her senses. If that were the case, her grandfather and Grandma Yi would be the best examples of how good things take time to come to fruition. Everyone sat in the pavilion chatting and laughing, waiting for midnight to arrive, and then set off fireworks all over the sky. It seemed like Su-mu did it on purpose, always inserting himself between Su-won and Jiangyu. No one knew where his bad taste came from, but he didn't want them to sit together. Sun Linger felt the same way, so she quietly moved to Jiangyu's side and muttered, "Do you want me to help you?" Jiangyu didn't know what she meant at first, but when she glanced at Su-won, he immediately understood. Jiangyu couldn't help but smile, and replied in a low voice, "Thank you very much." Suwon could always feel Jiang Yu's gaze through his second brother Sumu. During this period of time, he had been busy with the old sect master's affairs, and the two had not been alone together for a long time. On the rare occasions, they just held hands and walked quietly in the winding alleys of Fengyue Villa. She finally found her sight, and Jiang Yu sighed inwardly that it was not easy.
Oh, it's too cold today.
Let's go back first. The road will be hard to walk on soon. You young people can enjoy yourself. Dr. Sun has been freezing for a long time, and it's not even midnight yet. The snow is so heavy, and if his old bones get bumped or bruised, it will be terrible, and he will be the one who suffers. Grandma Yi rolled her eyes and scolded him for not understanding romance and just ruining the fun. Although he said disgust, his body was still honest and followed him. Let me take you back. The roads are slippery in this snowy day. I'm alone, and it's pointless to stay here. Let's go. Jang Yunha was also very conscious. There were so many couples around, so there was no need for him to join in the fun. So, suddenly there were only 4 young people left in the pavilion. The atmosphere was a little subtle. After waiting for a long time, the time came, and the fireworks were set off on time. In an instant, the sky was lit up by sparks. Countless beams of light rushed up to the sky, and then exploded. However, the fireworks technology in ancient times was limited, and the effects presented were all silvery white. However, this is enough. Fireworks of this scale, filling the entire sky, are already spectacular. It was also at this moment that the festive atmosphere overflowed. Wow, it's so beautiful. Sun Linger held Suwon's hand and exclaimed, looking up at the sky. Sumu also watched seriously, keeping his head up at the fireworks in the sky. Then Sun Linger watched the fireworks for a while, but her eyes were all on Sumu's face. Suwon turned her head and found that Jiang Yu's attention was not on the sky, but on her. He just looked at her silently, with a look in his eyes that could be so gentle that it could make water come out of his mouth. Suwon took the initiative to hold his hand under her sleeve, and he held her hand in his own and held it tightly. The fireworks lasted for half an hour before they ended, and the snow was still falling. If you stepped on it, it would reach your ankles. After watching the fireworks, there was no need to stay here any longer, so the 4 of them prepared to go back and rest. Sun Linger saw the right moment to start her performance. She pretended to fall and sprained her ankle. Ouch, my feet hurt. When the 3 of them turned around, they found her fallen in the snow, holding her ankle and looking at Sumu pitifully. Sumu was a little at a loss, but he was really anxious, so he quickly squatted down and asked, "What's going on? Where does it hurt?"
Here?
He wanted to touch Sun Linger's foot, but due to the difference between men and women, it was taboo for men to touch women's feet. Seeing this, Suwon wanted to shake off Jiang Yu's hand and go to see what was going on, but he held her back and shook his head at her. She didn't understand what this meant and didn't react at first, but she soon realized it. Because Sun Linger had tears in her eyes and told Sumu where she was in pain, looking so pitiful. What should I do? I can't walk by myself. The mischievous girl is trying to lure the straight man into taking the bait.
Then,
what should I do? Sumu had never encountered such a situation before, and he was at a loss as to whether to touch it or not. Brother, you can hold her or carry her on your back. Why are you asking this? After Suwon understood the situation, he started to assist. But it's not good for men and women to touch each other, right? Sumu was still concerned about these things at this time. Suwon hated his second brother for being a blockhead. The girl was so proactive. But it is indeed like this in the original book. The second brother is a medical geek, and when it comes to matters between men and women, it is always Sun Linger who guides him, and the woman takes the initiative to walk 99 steps towards him. What's wrong with that? Linger is injured, and you let her sit in the snow. What if she catches a cold? Also, if you don't carry her, I'm so weak. What if she falls in this icy and snowy place? Are you going to let Jiang Yu carry her? No. How can I let brother Yu carry me? He is still injured. Sun Linger was afraid that Sumu would agree, so she quickly refused. Jiang Yu was also happy to enjoy the result. He did not make any statement and waited for them to figure it out on their own. Sumu felt that what his sister said made sense, and besides, Linger was his senior sister, so it wouldn't hurt to carry her on his back. Okay then, I'll carry you back. Sumu adjusted his posture with his back to her. Suwon sighed that her second brother was too straight. Sun Linger climbed onto his back as she wished. Sumu stood up easily with her on his back, and then walked forward with big strides like a fool. Suwon was embarrassed again. On such a romantic New Year's Eve and snowy day, couldn't we have a little romance? Jongyu, Wanwan is in your hands. I'll take Ling back to rest first. He never forgot his sister when he left. Don't worry, second brother. I will take good care of Wanwan, Jongyu said with a smile. Seeing Sumu carrying Sun Linger on his back and walking on the snow as if it were flat ground, Suwon wanted to laugh. Finally, the world was quiet, with only the two of them left. The snow became much lighter, and even God seemed to favor them. He planned to use tonight to tell her in advance that he would go to the battlefield after the new year. But he was afraid that if the war continued for several years, would she be willing to wait for him? Suwon stepped on the snow. His shoes and socks got wet, his feet were cold and wet, and he felt uncomfortable. Are your shoes wet? Come, I'll carry you. As soon as Jongyu saw her satin shoes, he knew they must be soaked, and she would catch a cold. He first reached out to help her put on the hood of her cloak, then squatted down and prepared to carry her on his back. He is the kind of person who will take action directly when he needs something without asking you whether you want it or not. Suwon was touched by his attentiveness, so she didn't act pretentiously and just lay on his back. Anyway, it's not the first time I've memorized it. Jongyu walked very slowly with her on his back. He was wearing waterproof boots and walked steadily on the snow. There was a row of lights on both sides of the road, so it was not difficult to see the road ahead. Suwon was on his back, brushing the snow off his hair from time to time. Wait a few days, I want to go down the mountain to Zhongzhou City. Suwon took this opportunity to say hello to him in advance. She wanted to go to Zhongzhou early to check out the workshops and shops so that she could go home early after finishing them. Okay, I'll go with you then. He would never refuse any of her requests. I have something to tell you too. Jongyu also wanted to mention that he was going to the front line after the new year. Well, you talk and I'm listening. Suwon put her arms around his neck and rubbed her face against his. Jongyu felt itchy in his heart because of her little action. He really wanted to put her down and hold her face and kiss her. With the person you love makes both of you happy. After the new year, I will go to the battlefield. I am the eldest son of the Duke of Zhong's mansion. My father and grandfather were all great generals who fought on the battlefield. The Zhong family has been fighting for the country for generations, and my generation is no exception. This time, I will be away for at least a year and a half, and at most 3 to 5 years. Suwon didn't show any surprise when he heard this, but she silently tightened her arms around his neck. She knew he was going to the front line, and that was also the case in the original book. Then you will be a great general in the future and a great hero of the Jin state. It's not that easy. Even if I go to the frontline battlefield, I have to start from the bottom of the ranks. This is the ancestral precept of the Jianghu mansion. If men of my generation go to the battlefield and want to command the army, they have to earn military merits with their own abilities. Military positions are awarded according to the size of military merits. No one can just sit there and eat for free. Duke Jiang is such a person. Even if the son is his own, he has to start from the same point as others. It is impossible for him to be any different just because he is his son. That's great. You got your rank based on your own ability. No one can say anything about it. I believe you will shine on the battlefield. In my heart, those who defend their country are all heroes. I don't know if you'll be able to see my third brother after you go. He is alone in the barracks and doesn't know anyone. If you go, remember to look for him so that you two can take care of each other. Suwon was always thinking about her brother. In fact, after Jongyu left, he would go looking for Su Chun without her saying anything. Being on the same battlefield, she had to find a partner who could trust her and whom she could trust with her back. Su Chun was the person she trusted. It had nothing to do with anything else, let alone Suwon's face. He just felt that Su Chun was a man of blood and responsibility. I will do the same without you telling me. Then we can work together to gain military merits, help each other, and share the good and the bad. In the original novel, Jiang Yu and Su Qin developed a strong comradeship on the battlefield. They slept in the same bed, drank the same bowl of soup, and had a friendship that was worth risking their lives many times. I believe you. Suwon knew that they could return safely from the battlefield, but there were twists and turns in the process. She was far away in Xiangzhou, and was afraid that she could not be of any help. She could only remind them to be careful. Anyway, you must remember to protect yourselves. Remember that there are people waiting for you to come back. Don't be greedy and reckless. If you are doing this for the sake of the country, you can't just do it for the sake of the country. You must not let down the people who are waiting for you. Whenever Suwon thought of the suffering his third brother endured on the battlefield, he felt so heartbroken that he couldn't breathe. Since her appearance has changed so many plots and trajectories, hopefully, it will also allow third brother to suffer less. Then are you willing to wait for me? Jiang Yu originally didn't know how to ask her to wait for him, but she herself said that someone was waiting for them to come back. So was that person her? What do you mean? Please explain it clearly. Suwon didn't quite understand after hearing this. What does it mean to be willing to wait for him? I mean, if I go away for several years before coming back, will things be different when I come back? What do you mean things have changed? I am not myself anymore? Suwon knew what he meant, but she just wanted to tease him. Jiang Yu was anxious. Wasn't his expression clear enough? I'm afraid that you won't see me for a few years and you'll fall in love with someone else. Jiang Yu was willing to do anything to pursue his wife. Anyway, he was so humble that no one else would know. Oh, so you're afraid that she will fall in love with someone else. He is the son of Duke Jiang, the young master of Fengyue Villa, and a natural-born genius. When did he become so unconfident? Jiang Yu felt helpless when he heard her teasing him seriously. He sighed and explained, no matter how good or noble my background is, I am only a human being. As long as I am human, I will have selfish desires. If I have selfish desires, I will be afraid of losing someone or something. I am afraid of losing you, so I do whatever it takes to keep you. Is that wrong? Wanwan, because you are so good, smart, beautiful, witty, and kind. These are not enough to describe you. In my heart, you are the best woman in the world except my mother. I am afraid that if I am not by your side, there will be many equally excellent and capable people who will snatch you from me. I am afraid that if I go to the border for several years, you will be someone else's darling when I come back. Jiang Yu was indeed inferior. Suwon had never thought that the brilliant prince of Jiang State in the book would also be so unconfident. How many people were upset about him? But one day, he would actually feel unconfident for a mere little girl like her? Suwon felt that she was probably successful in her life. She moved closer to him and gave him a cool kiss on the cheek. Jiang Yu felt like he was electrocuted for a moment. People who have seen peonies will not stop for peonies. Peony is the king of flowers, graceful and elegant, with a stunning beauty. Peony is also beautiful, but ultimately it ranks second to peony. Of course, everyone has their own preferences, and this is just a metaphor. Both are very brilliant, but when they are often compared together, peony always comes in second. In fact, Suwon just wanted to express one thing to him. No one is better than you, and now is the best. I have seen the best, and I can't look down on anyone else. Smart and insightful is Jiang Yu? She has already said so. If he still doesn't understand, it's his fault. You go ahead, I will wait for you. I am a very selfish person, and I cherish my life very much. If you ask me to die for love, to cry, to make a scene, or to hang myself, I may not be able to do it, but I am willing to give up my whole life to wait for someone who is worth it. Suwon didn't know whether what he said would be enough to soothe his inner anxiety and lack of confidence. This is Suwon's view on love. She cannot commit suicide for love because her body and hair are given by her parents, but she can do it. For love, she will never marry anyone else in her life, and she will not marry anyone else but him. To hear Suwon's sincere words from the bottom of her heart, it was enough for him to know that she would wait for him. I'm glad you think so, no matter when your own life is the most important, but Wanwan, you are my life. Yu believes that a responsible man can not only protect his woman from wind and rain, but also protect her in times of crisis and be willing to die for her. God knows how much impact it has on a girl when someone says you are his life. What's wrong with girls liking to hear sweet words? Regardless of whether this is the truth or not, at least he is willing to tell you, which is better than someone who is not willing to lie to you. The time spent alone was always short, and they soon returned to Jiaxing Pavilion. He carried her all the way to the door of the room, while Lu Yun and Lu Ying waited inside. Was taken from their hearts, and both of them have recovered as before. Hearing that the girl had returned, the two ran out happily, but found Jiang Yu was also there. They immediately withdrew their smiles and became serious. Go get some hot water and clean shoes and socks. Your girl's shoes and socks are soaked. Jiang Yu has become accustomed to this. He doesn't know why, but his subordinates seem to be afraid of him, even though he is usually easy to get along with. But he may not know that his usual serious appearance has become a stereotype. Yes, we'll go right away. Lu Ying and Lu Yun quickly divided the work and went to do the work. Jiang Yu stood at her door and did not go in. Instead, he touched her face, which was cold from the wind, and said softly, "Go to bed early. See you tomorrow." "Aren't you cold? Come in and keep warm. Also, you haven't taught me to play the zheng for a long time." Su Wan's girlish cuteness was revealed in an instant. She pulled him by his cloak and led him into the room. Finally has some time alone, so of course, she hopes her boyfriend can spend more time with her. As a modern person, she does not need to restrain herself with those traditional ideas. She needs to abide by them in front of others to avoid gossip, but why should she care so much behind their backs? Jiang Yu actually didn't want to leave and wanted to stay with her for a while longer, so he went along with her and followed her in. Su Wan took him to sit on the chaise longue, and the stove in front of the couch was burning brightly. After Su Wan sat down, she took off her shoes and socks, revealing a pair of fair and smooth feet. However, her toes were all stained white from being soaked, and her fingertips were wrinkled. Jiang Yu saw the pair of small feet. His face turned red, and he quickly and unconsciously looked away and sat up straight. That scene was literally engraved into my mind, playing on a loop. My Adam's apple rolled unconsciously, and my mouth felt dry. Lu Ying found new shoes and socks, then poured 2 cups of hot tea. As a result, she saw her own girl stretching her legs and warming her feet. The young master on the side didn't dare to even glance at her, and his neck turned red. She thought to herself, "My girl, you are so careless. Look how scared the young master is. It's too cold outside. Young lady, young master, have some hot tea to warm your body." As soon as Lu Ying finished speaking, Jiang Yu had already finished the tea in one breath. Only after drinking a cup of tea did he feel that the heat was relieved a lot. According to the traditional thinking of the ancients, girls' feet should not be easily seen by others, and anyone who sees them will be held responsible. But Su Wan is a modern person with a relatively open mind. She thinks this may not be a big deal. But for Jiang Yu, since he has seen her feet, he must marry her. Lu Yun came in with a basin of hot water to help Su Wan soak her feet. Su Wan's feet were frozen like ice chips. She felt much more comfortable after touching the hot water. Jiang Yu drank several cups of tea in a row and then quietly accompanied her to soak her feet. "It's too late today. Let's learn the zither tomorrow. But before that, I have something to give you." Su Wan also realized that it was too late tonight, so she no longer wanted him to stay with her. Moreover, she wanted to give him a token of her love. What is it? Jiang Yu was a little curious. This was the first time she wanted to give him something, so he was quite looking forward to it. Lu Yun and Lu Ying tactfully retreated, leaving the space to the two of them. Su Wan ran to her jewelry box and rummaged around, then took out the huge gold ring that she had brought in from the book. This gold ring is actually a men's model. She just thought it was fun and wanted to wear it to satisfy her desire. She also lamented that the ring was heavy and it was a circle bigger than her thumb when she put it on it. Afterwards, an accident happened, and the ring became her only thought of the modern world in this strange world. Now, she plans to give this ring to Jiang Yu as a token of trust. She hid the ring in her palm, came to Jiang Yu, asked him to stretch out his hand and close his eyes. Jiangyu did as he was told and found something cold and heavy on his right thumb. Suwon asked him to open his eyes, and when he opened his eyes, he found that he was wearing a very delicate gold ring on his thumb. What is this? Jiangyu was a little confused when he looked at the heavy gold ring on his hand. The gold ring is the perfect size for his hand, and the style is quite novel. It is made of solid gold and has a mesh pattern. It looks pretty good anyway. It's a gold ring. Don't worry about what it is.
It means a lot to me.
I'm giving it to you now. You have to keep it well. Suwon would not tell him the origin of the gold ring. Anyway, it meant something very different to her. It was a different token of gratitude given to a different person in her heart. How come you have a ring for men? Jiangyu knew at first glance that this ring was not one that a girl would wear, both in appearance and size. Jiangyu's train of thought was truly bizarre, and Suwon was speechless when she heard him ask this. Could he think that this was prepared for other men? In fact, sometimes, fate is such a strange thing. There is a destiny and fate in the dark. This gold ring and Jiangyu are too compatible. She held his hand and looked it over carefully. It really fits him well, and his hands match his temperament. Even with such a big gold ring, he doesn't look tacky, but instead adds a bit of elegance. It fits you very well. It's tailor-made for you. No one else is more suitable for it than you. If you don't like it, you can return it to me. Suwon pretended to take it back. Jiangyu captured the key words and tailored them for him, which made him very happy. He automatically thought that Suwon had made it specially for him, so he quickly grabbed her hand, held it in his, and then gently pulled her into his arms and hugged her. That won't do. There's no reason to take back something that has been given away. At this moment, Jiangyu felt as happy as if he had eaten honey. Wanwan, I like it very much. I will definitely keep it well. You can see that he really likes it, and he smiles like a little boy who hasn't grown up yet. Okay, it's so late, and you don't go back to rest. It's almost dawn. Remember to come and teach me to play the piano tomorrow. Suwon broke free from his arms and pushed him out. Jiangyu let her push him to the door. After saying good night to each other, they went to rest. Suwon had been tossing and turning for half the night and was very tired. He washed up and fell asleep. On the contrary, Jiangyu, after returning home, lay on the bed, looking at the gold ring on his thumb and grinning foolishly. I had never seen him smile so foolishly before. This was the first time that Wanwan gave him a serious gift, and it was a gold ring specially made for him. He even wore it to sleep. He treasured it so much. Previous night, and went to bed in the early morning, so he slept until almost noon on New Year's Day. When he got up, he didn't eat anything and hurried to the medicine garden to see Sunlinger. She sprained her foot last night, and her second brother carried her back. The two sisters have such a good relationship now, so the first thing she did when she got up was to go see her. Jiangyu came to have lunch with Suwon at noon and found that she was not in the room, but went to the medicine garden, so he also went to the medicine garden. Sumu lives in the medicine garden with Dr. Sunday. Sunlinger's foot was not injured yesterday. It took a lot of effort to hide it from Sumu, all so that Jiangyu could be alone with Suwon for a while. She has to pretend to be lame and can't go anywhere. Last night, Sunlinger refused to let Sumu see her feet no matter what, so Sumu went to complain to the teacher and his wife early in the morning. Dr. Sun and Grandma Yi heard that she had injured her ankle, so they hurried to see her. As a result, this girl was evasive and refused to let them see her. After several excuses, Dr. Sun knew that this girl was pretending. After looking at his handsome disciple and then at his granddaughter's evasive eyes, he understood everything. Forget it. Old people like us can't interfere in young people's affairs.
Just let them be.
Suwon and Jiangyu arrived at the medicine garden at the same time. It was very lively there. It was time for dinner, and everyone gathered around the table to eat hot pot. This way of eating was brought by Suwon, and it was loved by everyone, young and old, at Fengyue Villa. The weather is cold. It is so comfortable to eat bubbling hot pot. Old sect master seemed to be getting better day by day. His spirits and complexion were getting better and better, and his appetite was getting better and better. After the poison was removed, he was no longer just healthy on the surface, but was healthy from the inside out. Jang Yunha accompanies him all day, so Jang can feel at ease to come out and stay with Soo-won. Ever since Grandma Yi married Dr. Sun, she no longer wore her distinctive ethnic minority costumes. Instead, she followed the local customs and wore jean country women's clothing. The couple still bickered all day long, but Dr. Sun always ended up losing. Grandma Yi examined Soo-moo's talent, because Dr. Sun said he was a rare medical genius. Grandma Yi also happened to have the ability to use poison, but no one had inherited it, so she planned to teach him together with Dr. Sun and pass on her skills to him. Don't underestimate people who use poison. If you use poison well and learn how to use it well, it can also save lives. Of course, Sun Linger can also learn along. Maybe her talent is not as good as Soo-moo's, but as long as she is willing, she can learn along. Soo-moo was kept by Grandma Yi, so he had no time to care whether his sister was always with Jongyu. In fact, he knew Jongyu's character and knew he would not do anything out of line to his sister, but he was just jealous and couldn't bear to see them together. There was no brother-in-law in the world who would like his own brother-in-law. The young couple returned to Jiaxing Pavilion hand in hand and stayed in the room playing the guzheng all day. They ate at mealtime and went out for a walk when they were tired. Soo-won did not let them sweep the snow in the yard, but left it there for her to play with. The two of them were bored in the room for a long time. They ran out to make a snowman and called Lu Yun and Lu Ying to join them. She was always the one making the noise while he was laughing. At night, the two of them went to accompany the old master for dinner, chat with him, and make the old man happy. Such days are fulfilling and happy, but they are fleeting. In a blink of an eye, it is already the 6th day of the new year. Soo-won decides to go to Zhongzhou to busy himself with business, without further delay.
Comfort is for the dead.
This money must be earned, and this shift must be attended. Anyway, he has rested for more than 2 months, and it is about time to get busy. When Soo-moo heard that she was going to Zhongzhou to do business, he also thought that they would not have much time to spend together, so he said hello to Dr. Sun and Grandma Yi and prepared to go down the mountain with his sister. Sun Linger pretended to be a cripple for several days. When she heard that she could go down the mountain, she was busy joining in the fun. Suddenly, her foot got better and she insisted on following Soo-won to Zhongzhou. Soo-moo disagreed, fearing that her foot had not yet fully healed, so he refused to let her go, saying it was for her own good. Sun Linger complained that Soo-moo was apparently young but looked old, like an antique. She had no choice but to come to Soo-won and act like a spoiled child, believing that she would be treated leniently if she confessed and severely if she resisted, and she confessed that she had pretended to sprain her injury. In fact, Soo-won had already guessed that her future sister-in-law was the most eccentric, but her personality was also really likable. This time, Soo-won will not return to Fengyue Villa for the time being, and she doesn't know when she will come again, so when she leaves, she wants to say goodbye to the old master. Old sect leader heard that she was leaving. He felt extremely reluctant to let her go. He liked Soo-won from the bottom of his heart. She brought him a lot of joy during this period of time and brought some fun and comfort to his boring and painful life. He now only recognizes Soo-won as his future granddaughter-in-law. Girl 1, why don't you spend the Lantern Festival in the mountains before going back? The old sect leader urged. Soo-won sat obediently beside his bed and handed him a bowl of medicinal food. Grandfather, I've been away for half a year. My parents and brothers at home are all thinking about me. I didn't spend the new year at home this year. I'm sure they miss me a lot. And I miss them too. I just want to finish the business in Zhongzhou as soon as possible and go back to be with them. Old sect master nodded and exclaimed, You are a good and filial girl, and one of the few smart girls I have seen in my life. You are so young, and yet you travel all over the country to do business. Girls your age don't have your courage. You have worked hard during this period of time. You have been busy and dedicated for my affairs. Grandfather doesn't know how to repay you. You don't want anything, but if you think of something you want in the future, you must tell Grandfather. Even if it is the stars and the moon in the sky, I will find a way to pick it for you. Old sect leader really values Soo-won, and his tone is filled with endless admiration and reluctance. Su-won smiled, covered her lips and joked, "Grandfather, you said last time that you could find anything for me except the stars and the moon in the sky. How come you included the stars and the moon this time?" The old sect master heard this, he chuckled. "You are so sarcastic, girl. I just thought that this was the only way to show how much your grandfather values you. Then I would like to thank Grandpa first. However, before that, you have to promise me to take good care of yourself. If I am free in the future, I will come to Fongyue Villa to see you." Su-won is really likable in front of the elders. He is sweet-mouthed, good at talking, and smart. He can always coax the elders into obedience. "No," the old sect leader quickly nodded and agreed. "That's a must. I'm still waiting to have a grandson, so I have to take care of myself." Hearing the word great-grandson, Su-won felt embarrassed. Her grandfather was thinking too far ahead. She was still young and nothing was settled yet. Isn't it too early to call him great-grandson? "Grandfather, you are joking again," Su-won said angrily. "Ha ha ha, no kidding, no kidding. When the time is right, I will ask your Uncle He to go to your house to propose marriage on behalf of you. We will go through the 3 letters and 6 ceremonies and marry you in a formal sedan chair carried by 8 people." The old sect leader smiled while stroking his beard. He was happy from the bottom of his heart. "What are you talking about? Why are you so happy?" Jongyu had already arranged everything for going down the mountain and came to pick up Su-won. He could hear the laughter coming from the bedroom while he was still in the yard. "I didn't say anything. I just said you are a fool." Su-won took over the conversation, and this made the old master laugh again. Yes, he is a fool." The old sect leader agreed with Su-won's description. Jiang-yu was so angry that he laughed and held his forehead helplessly. The old man and the young man were now on the same side, bullying him together. "Wan, everything has been arranged. Let's go down the mountain quickly so that we can get into the city before dark. Zhongzhou has a curfew, and we can't get in if we are late." Today, Jiang-yu changed into his favorite purple color again. When his grandfather was not feeling well before, he always wore black. Now that his grandfather is better, he starts to become lively again. "Then, Grandpa, I'll leave first. I'll come and see you when I have time later." Su-won stood up and said goodbye. "Okay, you must remember what you said, and remember to come and see me, a lonely man." The old sect leader knew that the girl had important things to do, so he did not try to keep her. Luyun had already packed up all her things, and even had a few boxes of jewelry, all of which were found for her by the old sect master. Each one was more beautiful and exquisite than the other. Su-won had unknowingly become a hidden wealthy woman, and all her jewelry combined was enough to support her for 2 lifetimes. Fengming led the people to carry the luggage down the mountain first. A luxury ship was already parked at the foot of the mountain. Su-won's siblings, Jiang-yu and Sun Linger, followed them and slowly walked down the mountain. Zhongzhou only received Su-won's letter on the 5th day of the new year. Su-yun had been looking forward to her return from before New Year's Eve until now, but she never came back. Now the letter said that she would not come back until she finished her business in Zhongzhou. Wouldn't that mean she would have to wait another month or 2? This Su-won was so absorbed in playing outside that she almost forgot about her family. He would definitely not forgive her and would ignore her for at least 2 months. After Su-won and the others went down the mountain, the old sect leader asked Jiang Yunhe to go to Wushang's yard and ask him why he did this. The old sect leader didn't want to see him, but he wanted to know the reason. He wanted to know how he had offended him over the years. He wanted to kill himself and Jiang Yu. Mingming was a very good child when he was young. He was hardworking, motivated, and sensible. But what about now? He would do anything to achieve his goal, even to the point of killing his adoptive father who raised him and his nephew who grew up with him. Jiang Yunhe also wanted to know why. He went there with 2 jars of wine. When they were young, the 2 boys, aged 15 or 16, would often take their junior sister to steal the master's aged wine and drink it secretly. Then the 3 of them would get drunk and stagger all over the place, using the sky as their roof and the ground as their home. The master was worried about his daughter, so he took people to look for her everywhere. The two of them were often punished for this, but even when they were punished, they would laugh happily and would dare to do it again next time. When did it all start to change? It seemed to be when my junior sister fell in love with a man, and when she got married, everything seemed to have changed. Yu Wushang's martial arts and internal strength were destroyed, so his master asked Dr. Sun to spare his life. It is said that he has gotten much better in the past 2 days, and can even get out of bed and walk. In just half a month, the tall and strong man had quickly become thinner. His back was hunched, as if he had aged a dozen years in an instant, and there were large patches of white on his hair. Jiang Yunhe stepped into the house, which was warm inside. He had never been deprived of food, clothing, shelter, and transportation. The old sect master wanted to make him live in pain as a punishment. Didn't I tell you that I don't want to eat? Why did I come here again and again? Yu Wushang spoke weakly, yet he was still so arrogant. I brought my daughter's red wine that I have treasured for 10 years. Would you like to try it? Jiang Yunhe sat down opposite him with the wine. Yu Wushang was stunned, as if he didn't expect him to come. Why are you here? He looked away in shock, for he had thought that they had trapped him here as a useless man, while they were living a happy and carefree life outside, and had long forgotten about this useless person. Su Wan and her companions boarded a boat and traveled by water to the outskirts of Zhongzhou City. When they arrived at the dock, a horse-drawn carriage came to pick them up. After getting off the boat, they got on the carriage and continued walking for another half an hour before reaching the gate of Zhongzhou City. In the evening and stayed directly at the restaurant opened by Fengyue Villa in Zhongzhou. This restaurant also has a very elegant name called Baikonglu, as Yueman Shilo, and is also a magnificent high-end consumption destination. There is a curfew in Zhongzhou City at night, but it will not be until almost midnight. Before midnight, Zhongzhou City is extremely lively and prosperous. It is a small Kyoto, which cannot be compared with Xiangzhou City. It is so rich and luxurious that it is dazzling. The buildings are magnificent and majestic, showing refinement and prosperity everywhere. Few ordinary people walking on the street wear short shirts. Almost all of them are dressed in gorgeous clothes. It can only be said that the gap between the rich and the poor here is not big, and life is pretty good. There are basically no poor people. Now that we are in Zhongzhou, while it is still early, we might as well go out for a walk, eat, drink, and have some fun. Su Wan and Sun Linger had been in the mountains for more than 2 months. Now that they have come down from the mountain, they are like fish returning to the water, having a lot of fun and trying everything they see. Jiang Yu and Su Mu are ruthless bag-carrying machines. Just the two of them are not enough, so Feng Ying and several other guards have to be called on to do the hard labor. When Su Mu saw Sun Linger jumping around, he began to doubt whether there was something wrong with her foot. If there was nothing wrong, then she was really carefree. Jiang Yu threw the things to Feng Ying and the others, asking them to return the things to Beigong Tower first, and then he would go shopping with Su Wan. Tired, the group found a snack shop on the side of the road to eat some local specialties. The girls start shopping. They seem to be tireless. In fact, this kind of life cannot last long. Everyone cherishes the time they can spend together, and no one complains of being tired and spoils the fun. Su Wan played all night, and she got up early the next day. She quickly got into the mood, washed up, and went out early in the morning, ready to visit the local dental clinic. Su Mu agreed to accompany her and got up early. Only Sun Linger was still sleeping, and Su Wan did not disturb her. Jiang Yu arranged breakfast, and the three of them ate until they were 70% full before going to the dental clinic and starting a whole day of looking for venues. First, select the location of the workshop. The workshop must be large enough because Zhongzhou will have to supply goods to the entire central region in the future. Su Wan's request, the dental professional said to her directly. My dear, there may not be anything that meets your requirements in Zhongzhou City, but I can recommend a farm 10 miles outside the city. There are many vacant farms there which are perfect for workshops. Many wealthy businessmen in the city have set up workshops there, including those that specialize in ceramics, cloth dyeing, and even silkworm breeding. There is also a flower farm of hundreds of acres next to the farm, which can supply fresh flowers all year round, which is very convenient. Because when Su Wan made the request, she also asked if there were any large brothels outside Zhongzhou City. She happened to be there, so the guy at the pawn shop thought of this place first. So, how big is the manor you were talking about? Suwon couldn't imagine it after listening to his description. The clerk from the brokerage firm went straight to get out some pictures of mansions for her to look at. These were several unused manors with different layouts. The composition looked good and could probably accommodate 50 to 80 people, which was enough for the workers to live in. The most important thing is that the several courtyards in the manor are very large, and there are independent warehouses for storing goods. There is a large open space behind each manor. If it is well taken care of, it can be used to dry soap at ordinary times, which is enough. If that doesn't work, the several courtyards in the manor are large and can be used. Suwon directly suggested going to the scene to take a look and make a comparison. The people from the pawnbroker also knew that this was a big business, so they took them to a large manor outside the city, without saying a word. On the way, the clerk told her in detail the prices of these idle manors. If they bought them, the price would be between 5,000 and 8,000 taels, and if they rented them, the starting price would be 500 taels a year. If you calculate it this way, it is definitely more cost-effective to buy it directly, and renting it is not cost-effective. After arriving, it was just as the waiter said. This place was like a small town, with independent manors everywhere, many of which had been contracted out. When you enter the manor, you could see busy workers pulling carts back and forth at the front and back doors of some of the manors. There were also mulberry girls who had just returned from the mulberry forest to feed the silkworms after stepping on mulberry leaves. They were all girls from nearby villages, working in the silkworm house. Each of them looked young and energetic. From a distance, you could hear them singing folk songs as they walked, and their songs echoed in the valley. Suwon had a good first impression of this place. This lifestyle made her feel very comfortable. The mulberry girls passed by Suwon and his companions. They saw two handsome young men, and their faces turned red, not daring to look at them any longer. After they walked away, they all started chattering about why they came to the village, and whether they would become neighbors in the future. The waiter took Suwon to see several manors one by one. At the suggestion of his second brother and Jongyu, Suwon chose a manor in a more secluded location, mainly because the open space in the backyard was the largest among the manors. The village. Spring water flows down from the foot of the mountain. The water is clear, and you can see the bottom. Daily life here should be very convenient. In some places, vegetable fields have been reclaimed and winter cabbage is planted in them. This manor covers an area of nearly 1,000 square meters, not including the open space at the back, which is a free gift. It costs 7,000 taels to buy it in full. Zhongzhou has always been known as the Little Kyoto. This place is very expensive and was considered a first-tier city in ancient times. Even the suburbs are very expensive. It is not a loss to buy a manor for 7,000 taels. Suwon was also a straightforward person. After asking about the completion time of the manor, he finalized it. This manor has been under construction for 5 years. Someone rented it for a year before, but moved out after the business failed. It is absolutely clean. After visiting the manor, Suwon prepared to go to the nearby flower farm. Zhongzhou is so big. The scale of the flower farm here can't be smaller than the one in Xiangzhou, right? Flower farm is indeed very close to the village, just upstream of the river, with convenient water conservancy. The flower fields cover hundreds of acres and seem to be even larger than the ones in Xiangzhou. As long as we have the most important supply of flowers, we can make the most profitable flower soaps and hair soaps. Zhongzhou will not have to worry about the market. Once the shop is opened, we can make a profit quickly. The group returned to the city in the afternoon. When Sun Linger opened her eyes, she found that she was alone in the Beigong Tower. Suwon considerately left Lu Ying to her. She spent most of the day alone in the blue sky tower, bored, and vowed never to go to bed early again. As soon as Suwon stepped into the room, Sun Linger appeared with a resentful look on her face. Wanwan, you actually went out without calling me. Are you still my good sister? I saw you were sleeping soundly, so I didn't call you. Suwon smiled embarrassedly, then hugged her arm to get closer to her. Okay, then remember to call me tomorrow. Sun Linger is quite easy to coax. Suwon, Jongyu, and Su Mu had been outside for most of the day and had not had time to eat lunch. The first thing they did when they came back was to eat. In the next few days, there are still many things to do. A group of servants will be hired to send to the manor to clean up. Then a large number of things in the workshop need to be customized, and a shop in Zhengzhou City needs to be purchased for decoration. We also need to hire a capable and trustworthy person to be the general manager of the Zhengzhou region. In short, it took me half a month to get these basic things done. Fortunately, Su Mu and Jiang Yu helped her in the early stages, so she didn't need to do everything by herself, which saved a lot of time. Of course, Sun Linger also helped a lot. Every day thereafter, she accompanied Su Wan to interview those who came to apply for the position of general manager. Su Wan was still prepared to give those women a chance and hired the general manager of Zhengzhou and the owner of Yuyintang shop. The workshop and shop in Zhengzhou, which also included arranging personnel and supplying various raw materials. The first month, the general manager was confirmed. She was a sister in her 30s named Xu. Her short life can be described as one of wandering. Precisely because of these hardships, she has acquired rich experience in workshop management. She told me that when she was still unmarried, her parents were in the pastry business, and she had been in charge of all matters in the shop since she was a child. Because of the old brand, her family also had a small fortune. Later, she got married and followed her husband in the porcelain business. Her father-in-law died early, and her mother-in-law was in poor health. Her husband was a man of little talent. Because he did not know how to run a business, he was greedy for small profits and cut corners in the process. As a result, the goods were of poor quality, reputation declined, and business was not good. However, there were dozens of people in the house who needed to feed, and money was needed for her mother-in-law's medical treatment. Sister Xu got married. She realized that she couldn't let the business continue to decline, so she personally learned how to make porcelain. She did everything by herself, from kneading the clay, making the embryo, to glazing. As the family business was not good, she tried her best to restore the reputation. She designed many beautiful porcelain styles, and then went around soliciting business. She encountered many contempts and suffered a lot of grievances, but finally she got an order. She personally supervised the work and completed the order on time. After the goods were shipped, they received wide acclaim. But during the supervision period, because she was too busy, she became pregnant, but she didn't notice it. She was too tired and had a miscarriage, which hurt her body and made it difficult for her to get pregnant again. The family business was getting better, but because of the issue of offspring, she and her husband did not get along, and she was often subjected to his cold words. Her mother-in-law had a conscience and understood her difficulties. She served her wholeheartedly, but she died within 2 years. The road to my mother's family was not easy either. After my younger brother got married, my sister-in-law was sarcastic and had a bad relationship with her mother, and they often had conflicts. My younger brother was a gambler, and my father also became addicted. With 2 gamblers in one family, neither could be the breadwinner. The family property was soon lost, and even the shop was mortgaged. She gave aid to her parents' homes several times, which made her husband unhappy. He quarreled with her every other day and even pushed her into the pond by accident during the quarrel. Of winter, her body was completely broken. She would never have children in this life. She was disheartened, but she had promised her mother-in-law that she would manage the workshop well. She decided that after she got better, she would manage the family business well, and as for her husband, he could do whatever he wanted. Because she was unable to bear children, her husband brought one concubine after another into the home. For reasons of offspring, she could not say anything. As the number of beautiful women in the family increased, her husband's reputation outside was ruined. Many business partners stopped cooperating with him for fear of damaging their interests, and the family's porcelain business entered a cold period again. Xu then found her husband, hoping that he would stop such ridiculous things, but as soon as she said something, he said that she was a hen that could not lay eggs, which hurt her heart and poked her lungs. As a woman living in a feudal society, she was infertile and her parents' family was unreliable, so she could only pin her hopes on the workshop. She thought that as long as she managed the money, everything would be fine. As a result, Her husband fell in love with the courtesan in the red light district and was completely bewitched by her. In order to redeem her, he simply sold the house. She lost her place to live, and her workshop suffered huge losses due to cancelled orders. She used the little money she had to buy a new house, but received a letter of divorce. Her cheap husband divorced her on the grounds that she had no offspring, one of the 7 grounds for divorce. The matter was brought to the government, and she was in the wrong, so she had no choice but to take the divorce letter and return to her parents' home. From then on, the honor, disgrace, prosperity, and decline of her ex-husband's family had nothing to do with her. And because she is old and cannot have children, it is difficult for her to remarry. Her mother's side, her brother's wife, was not easy to get along with. The family property was squandered by the father and son, and they refused to accept her as an abandoned woman. They said that there were several children at home, and they were already struggling to make ends meet. If she came back, she would have an extra pair of chopsticks. They also said that if she had to come back, she would have to pay for living expenses. She was an abandoned woman, and her dowry had already been used to subsidize her parents' home. In the end, she had nowhere to go and no one to rely on. After that, she looked for work everywhere, but she was not trusted. Her arithmetic and management experience were not put to good use, so she could only do some menial work to make a living. Chance, she saw a job announcement for Yuan Hall which said that they needed someone with extensive experience in workshop management and who was proficient in arithmetic to manage the shop, and it specifically wanted a woman, so she came with the mentality of giving it a try. She first came, she was dressed in coarse linen, had rough skin and a thin body, which formed a sharp contrast with the magnificent Beacon building, but she did not lower her head. Suwon was quite surprised when she saw her, but she also gave everyone equal opportunities. Sister Shushu is indeed very good at arithmetic, has a clear mind, and has her own ideas about management. Suwon recognized her business acumen, and she also wanted to give the vast number of suffering women a chance. As a woman herself, she can understand their sadness and experiences. Why should women make things difficult for other women? Not only that, they should also be considerate of each other and help each other. Therefore, Suwon gave her a chance, a 1-month probation period. If she passed it, she would be appointed as the general manager of Zhongzhou region. To be honest, when Shushu first came, she thought it was just a simple job to manage the workshop and shop, but she never imagined it would be such a big test. She felt that she had to take it more seriously. As soon as Shushu arrived, she quickly took over a lot of things, and Suwon didn't have to worry about anything. As for Xiangzhou, she wrote a letter in advance and asked her uncle to arrange a few trustworthy people to come and teach the soap-making techniques in the Zhongzhou workshop. They would also be assigned here as skilled workers, living in the workshops here for a long time and leading the newly bought servants from the pawn shop to do their work. Jiang Yu and Su Mu did not stay with her for long. Jiang Yu had to go to the front line after the new year, and he would leave after the Lantern Festival. Mu and Sun Linger only accompanied her for more than a month before they continued their travels with Dr. Sun and Grandma Yi. Old sect master has fully recovered and can walk again, returning to his normal life. The day Jiang Yu left, Suwon was extremely reluctant to let him go, but she did not show her unhappiness out of fear of bringing negative emotions to Jiang Yu. In fact, she was feeling very uncomfortable. In the few days before leaving, the two were together almost all the time, except for sleeping together at night. Su Mu also knew that Jiang Yu was going to the front line, and the young couple didn't have much time to spend together. Most of the time, he and Sun Linger took on other tasks, leaving space for the young couple. He thought, never mind, they might not see each other again for a few years anyway, so just let them stay a little longer. However, at night, Sumu would come over on time to separate the two of them and send them back to their rooms to rest, not allowing them to stay together at night. In fact, Suwon just took Jiang Yu running around every day. They went to the pawn shop to buy people, to the servant market to buy people, to see the shop of Yuan Hall, and to the carpenter to customize various wooden racks, soap molds, and so on. They never spent much time alone together. Only on the Lantern Festival did Suwon specially stay out for a day. Instead of being busy with work in the workshop, they just ate, drank, and had fun together in Zhengzhou City. There was a lantern festival that night. During the day, I called Su Mu and Sun Linger to grill river fish in the river. At night, we went ashore to participate in the lantern festival in the city. They guessed riddles together, won prizes, released lanterns, and made wishes. There was no curfew in Zhengzhou that night, so the group played until midnight. Jiangyu has already asked Feng Ying to be ready, and he can leave at any time. The lanterns were being released. Su Mu and Sun Linger disappeared at some point, leaving only the two of them. Suwon took the initiative to kiss Jiangyu again that night. The girl stood by the river, stood on tiptoe, put her arms around his neck and kissed him, not letting go for a long time. She was almost unable to stand on tiptoe, but Jiangyu just stood there without responding. When Suwon wanted to withdraw his hand and leave, he seemed to have found the missing string, grabbed her waist, and kissed her regardless this time. But he only tasted it briefly, nibbling gently on her lips without prying open her teeth or going any deeper. Many times, it's not that Jiangyu is incapable or not proactive, but that he absolutely respects the girl he loves. In daily interactions, apart from holding hands or hugging, he doesn't do anything out of the ordinary. There were a few times when Suwon was the one who provoked him. She always kissed his face, making his heart unable to calm down for a long time. When Suwon got up the next morning, Jiangyu had already left. Without saying much about parting, he also said that he didn't want to look back again and again on the way away, and she would wait for him to come back no matter what. Jiangyu left Feng Ying and a team of people to Suwon. At that time, they will be done only when they escort Suwon back to Xiangzhou safely. On the day Su Mu and Sun Linger left, Dr. Sun and Grandma Yi came to Zhengzhou to meet them. The old couple still liked to bicker, and they quarreled endlessly along the way. Although Dr. Sun argued back, he was still submissive most of the time. Sun Linger said that she had finally found someone who could tame her grandfather. Their fourth brother was preparing to continue his journey along the route he had not completed last time. Suwon escorted them to the city gate, and Sumu gave her instructions along the way. After you go back, remember to write to me to let me know you're safe. Don't be too busy with business matters and pay more attention to your health. As for your parents, please say hello to them for me when you go back. You must keep the health-preserving prescriptions I left behind and take them back to make medicinal food for your parents according to the prescriptions. I'm doing this for your own good. And you too, eat less sweets after nightfall, and remember to drink 2 glasses of warm water when you get up in the morning. Even in summer, avoid cold drinks. Okay, second brother, I have written down all the words you have been saying since last night. Don't worry, I will definitely listen to you. Suwon was helpless. His second brother, who studied traditional Chinese medicine, was like this. When it came to health preservation, he was really too self-disciplined. He had 3 meals a day on time, a vegetarian breakfast, and a small meal at night so that he could be full at noon. He also had to avoid eating too much greasy food. He was relatively lenient toward Suwon. At least he allowed her to eat at night, but she was not allowed to eat sweets. He is a young man, but he is even more old-fashioned than Dr. Sunday. Fengyue Villa has raised a group of eagles, which can deliver messages in time no matter where you are. Jiangyu gave one to Suwon so that he can write to Sumu anytime he wants without worrying about not knowing where he is. Sun Linger was also very reluctant to leave Suwon and kept holding her arm in the carriage. Suwon also joked, "Linger, you are so pitiful. Dr. Sun and my second brother are both medical students, and they pay special attention to healthy diet. Don't you miss many things in time? Yeah, you don't know, they're so annoying. They don't allow us to eat this, they don't allow us to eat that, and everything they do is bad for our health." Sun Linger complained under her real name. When Grandma Yi heard this, she couldn't hold back her loud voice anymore. Eat, why not? Life is short, enjoy it while you can. If you don't eat when you are young, why not eat when you are old like us? All your teeth have fallen out. What can you eat? Linger, don't be afraid. Eat whatever you want, Grandma will take care of you. Tell me if you feel uncomfortable. I guarantee you will live to be 99. Grandma, you are so kind. Sun Linger's eyes lit up when she heard her say that. Hey, just spoil her. Are we doing this for her own good? Dr. Sun was unhappy to hear this. Grandma Yi was also unhappy and put her hands on her waist. Who has the final say in this family? Didn't we agree on this before? You all listen to me. What do you have to do with it? Seeing that he couldn't win the argument, Dr. Sun simply stopped talking. When they arrived at the city gate, Suwon waved goodbye to them, then watched their carriage go away, feeling empty in his heart. Alas, I am alone again. Lu Yun and Lu Ying could see that she was reluctant to leave, but they didn't know how to comfort her. Suwon returned to the city alone. Looking at the hustle and bustle of the streets from the Beacon Tower, he felt something was wrong. Then 2 months. In the first month, a few people helped her, so she didn't have to work too hard. But in the last month, Shushu took care of everything by herself. After Yuan Hall was renovated, she stayed in the workshop every day, learning how to make various goat milk soaps, how to extract floral dew, and how to soak floral oils. She led a group of workers to prepare goods while also taking care of the opening of Yuan Hall. Sister Shushu arranged everything in an orderly manner. Before the Yuantang shop opened, she had it cleaned spotlessly. Suwon asked her to make a lucky gift box. The box she customized was exquisite, yet classy. She also tried to save some money and spend it on other things. She was more careful than Suwon had planned and spent all the money wisely. Moreover, she remembered every expense clearly and neatly and brought it to Suwon the next day. Suwon didn't care about the promotion and just waited for the opening to see the results. In Suwon's mind, she had already passed the test, and she believed that she could manage the Zhongzhou market well. Suwon paid her a monthly salary of 100 taels. On the night before the opening, Sister Shushu made a special trip to the Beacon Tower. She gave Suwon something to show her loyalty, something similar to a contract of sale. She went to the government office and made a servant contract, selling herself to Suwon for 5 years. After the government stamped the contract, it was considered effective. Suwon was a little surprised because, in her impression, the common people of Jin State particularly looked down on servants, and those servants also felt ashamed of being servants and struggled to get rid of their servantry all their lives, and some even worked hard for this from generation to generation. Sister Shushu, why are you doing this? Suwon didn't know what to say to her. Unexpectedly, Sister Shushu knelt down directly, which frightened Suwon again. He quickly stood up to help her. Hurry up, I can't stand you like this. I have decided to use you, and I will trust you. Boss, you are willing to give me a chance. It is my honor in this life. I have been displaced in my short half-life, facing despair several times, and then hitting walls everywhere. I finally got an opportunity, and I must cherish it. You have handed over such a large industry to me, so I want you to rest assured. You are far away in Xiangzhou, and cannot come here all the time. I can only express my loyalty to you in this way. Sister Shushu's purpose is very simple, which is to reassure Suwon that she will not do anything to betray her, and that she is hers now. Now that things have come to this, Suwon can only follow her. She was not sure whether she could be completely at ease or not, but now she is really reassured. Once the government intervenes, the indenture will take effect, and she will not be able to escape servantry no matter where she goes. If she breaks the contract before the 5-year period expires, as long as Suwon reports to the authorities, she will become a fugitive servant and will be sentenced to death if caught. If you want to escape abroad, it is not an option because there is a war on the border and the people of Jin State will be treated as spies, which will be a more miserable death. Therefore, Shushu's way of expressing loyalty has cut off her own retreat, which can be said to be unprecedented and will never be repeated. Sister Shushu, I've seen your sincerity. I'm also a very easygoing person. As long as you work hard for me, your monthly salary will increase, and you can even get a bonus at the end of the year. If your performance is good, I can also give you a house. These are not a problem. There's nothing else to do with me. We're both women, so we should understand each other. I'll only give opportunities to women like you who have stories and abilities. Suwon only gives women chances, but it is different for his uncle. After all, he is his uncle, and he should give a hand. However, the shopkeeper of Yuantang shop in Xiangzhou has decided to marry Yang Qingqing. I know that you are a good person, so I am willing to work for you. Please rest assured that I will do my best to manage Zhongzhou Yuan Hall. Shushu kowtowed to her. It was the first time in Suwon's life that someone older than her kowtowed to her. At Shushu's age, she can be her mother directly. The next day, Yuyen Hall opened for business. Suwon watched from the tea house opposite and did not go to greet the guests in person. The few girls arranged by Shushu to work in the store were all bought from the dental clinic. She did a good job of promotion, and Yuyen Hall was packed on the first day of opening. People were crowding at the door, and 1,500 sets of Lulu Dashun gift boxes were sold out in half a day. Thousands of dollars worth of stock were sold out in one day, but fortunately, there was still enough stock in the workshop. The new plum blossom scented goat milk soap is selling particularly well. People in Zhongzhou are wealthy, so they basically buy the dyed version. No one wants the basic version. We'll continue to sell it for a few days and see how it goes. If there are really no sales, we'll reduce production and increase the production of the dyed version. Business has been good for 3 consecutive days, so Suwon felt relieved and prepared to return to Xiangzhou. He would come back to inspect the store in the second half of the year. She will have to see how many branches Sister Shushu has opened for her. Suwon returned to Xiangzhou at the end of March. When she arrived at the doorstep of her home, her father, mother, and 4th and 5th brothers were waiting for her with their necks stretched out. She had not been home for more than half a year, and she missed her family very much. She also had no idea about the business situation in Xiangzhou. Anyway, Yenzhou and Suzhou are pretty good. After getting off the carriage, Suwon hugged his mother first. "Mom, I'm back." Su's mother was almost knocked down by her big bear hug, but fortunately Su's father was there to support her. Su-yun and Su-yi looked at her. At first, Su-yun was quite happy. Seeing that she not only did not lose weight, but seemed to have gained weight, he knew that she did not suffer outside. But then she thought again, they were so worried about her at home that they couldn't eat or drink and had lost weight, but she was eating well and drinking well and was very comfortable. So how could she look like she was homesick? So Su-yun put on a stern face and tried to make his presence felt. "Humph, you have no conscience." It was hard for Suwon not to notice him, so she walked towards her 4th and 5th brothers with a smile and called out sweetly, "4th brother, 5th brother, I'm back." Su-yun agreed not to talk to him for 2 months, and then he turned around and walked away proudly with his hands behind his back. The 5th brother Su-yi did not do so, but just said sourly, "It's amazing that you still remember us. I thought you were stuck with some treasure outside." The 5th brother is the leader of a weird and strange style, and his inner skills are unquestionable. Actually, I miss you guys too. You see, the food I eat out is not tasty. How can the food out taste like home?
I'm starving.
Suwon deliberately sucked her cheeks, making her face sunken into 2 depressions, to show that she had really lost weight. Su-yi couldn't help laughing when he saw her being so funny. Then he felt very useless. He covered his lips and cleared his throat, pretending to be arrogant. Seeing this, Su's father and mother shook their heads helplessly. These brothers and sisters have a very good relationship, and this is what they are most happy to see. Okay, Wanwan didn't really go out to play. She was there for something, to take care of her business. As her brothers, it's okay for you to be inconsiderate, but you're still sulking here. Aren't you ashamed? Su's mother first defended her daughter and held her hand tightly. Ahem, Mom, it's 4th brother who's angry. Su-yi felt that he was already pretty good. No matter how petty he was not as petty as 4th brother. I'll go talk to the 4th brother later. He's even competing with his sister. Wanwan, you've come a long way home. You must be tired, right? Go and have a rest first.
What do you want to eat tonight?
Ask your 4th brother to make it for you. Father Su also spoke, and the tone he used when speaking to his daughter was very doting. I want to eat braised pork and spicy chicken. There is no spicy food outside, and I miss the taste of home. What Suwon said was true. She had been outside for so long and all she had to eat was bland food. She missed the chili and soy sauce at home every day. Okay, I'll ask your 4th brother to make it for you later. He's already planning on opening a restaurant, and he's even used all of his family's acres of land to grow peppers. You can have as much as you want in the future. Su's mother and father surrounded her as she entered the house, while Su-yi followed behind them obediently without interrupting. Last year, 2 crops of peppers were planted, and several large jars of pepper powder were ground out. Soo-yun kept all of it for cooking when the restaurant opened. Back in the main hall, Sue's mother asked someone to make a cup of honey water and bring it to Soo-won. Soo-won took a sip and was pleasantly surprised. Is this honey water? Yes, the bees you raised in your hometown have all produced honey. Your father went back and Jiangsheng and Jiaoxing brought you a lot of honey. I don't know what you want to do with them, but I'm keeping them for you anyway. Soo-won had been away from home for more than half a year, so she didn't see many things with her own eyes. Wait until she has rested well, then we can talk about this slowly. The most urgent thing is to appease the firecracker of fourth brother. This guy will ignore people if he says so. Soo-won took Soo-yi's arm and asked him to accompany her to find her fourth brother, but she didn't find him in his room, but in the kitchen instead. He was inside making a fire, cooking, chopping vegetables, and preparing food. Fourth brother, why are you in the kitchen? I had a hard time looking for you. Seeing that he had a gloomy face, Soo-won took the initiative to approach him and try to get close to him. As a result, Soo-yun just ignored her and was so arrogant. Then Soo-won kept bothering him, hanging around him, and making endless noises. Fourth brother, I haven't seen you for a while. How come you have grown so much taller? You have also become more handsome. With a look like you, there must be a lot of girls who like you. Fourth brother, your cooking skills are really good now. The meat is cut into neat squares. I can't cut meat this good. Soo-won kept talking about her being the fourth brother for a long time, but Soo-yun just ignored her. He snorted from time to time and looked disgusted, as if he thought she was in the way, but he didn't drive her away. Soo-yi felt a little jealous. If he was as hypocritical as his fourth brother, would Won-won also be like this now, circling around him and coaxing him in various ways? However, he is not a pretentious person like fourth brother, and he can't act like him. Soo-yun cooked the dishes that Soo-won liked, including the braised pork and spicy chicken that she just mentioned. She knew that fourth brother was only angry on the surface, but he still doted on her in his heart. Fourth brother, how did you know I wanted to eat braised pork and spicy chicken? You are so nice. What do you mean you want to eat it? I want to eat it, not for you. This time Soo-yun finally spoke up, but he was still being stubborn. Okay, it's not made for me, but can I have some of it? I've been away for so long, and what I miss most is fourth brother's cooking. I think about it day and night. Soo-won looked at him pitifully. Soo-yun felt very happy to see her say that. However, he was not so angry all of a sudden. It was so embarrassing. It's up to you. If I don't let you eat, will my parents scold me to death? This is called saying one thing and doing another. He is obviously heartbroken, but he still pretends to be tough. Soo-won, just go along with him. Yes, fourth brother is the best. He is smart and wise, handsome and unrestrained. Why would he bother with a little girl like me? I was thinking about opening a restaurant with my fourth brother when I came back. Does the 50% profit he promised me still count? Soo-won praised Soo-yun without blushing, and Soo-yun felt so comfortable in his heart, with a smug look between his eyebrows. If I say something, how can I not keep it? Do you think I am you? I said I would come back before the new year, but I didn't come back. Soo-yun felt annoyed when talking about this. He carefully prepared a New Year gift for her, but he couldn't give it to her until she came back. He was being sarcastic and stepped on her twice, making her feel ashamed. So, Soo-won started to use her usual trick again, pulling Soo-yun's sleeve and shaking him. Oh, fourth brother, I will explain it to you slowly later. I really have my reasons, and it's understandable. I brought you gifts when I came back this time. I will give them to you after dinner. Fourth brother, you will definitely like the gift I brought you. When he heard about the gift, Soo-yun's anger had already subsided a lot. However, as proud as he was, he still wanted to put on airs so that Soo-won would coax him more. You have a conscience. Hey, then let me help you pick the vegetables, fourth brother. Soo-won saw that he wanted to laugh, but was forcing himself to hold it back, and she knew in her heart that fourth brother had been coaxed enough. There happened to be a basket of vegetables nearby, so she started to pick them by herself. Soo-yi was watching the fire there, and when he saw this scene, he felt jealous again. If I had known earlier, I would have been more pretentious for a while, Maybe I would have gotten more attention from Wanwan. Fourth brother, when did you become so fussy? You are so unreasonable. Soo-yi couldn't stand it anymore and wanted to say something sarcastic to him. When Soo-yeon heard him being sarcastic, he couldn't stand it. He threw the kitchen knife onto the chopping board and retorted, "If you don't agree, you can do this." A real man shouldn't be so petty and nagging. Soo-yi rolled his eyes. Hey, I'm just fussy and fussy. Why are you envious? TSK, I wouldn't envy you even if I were a ghost. The two brothers, one standing and the other sitting, neither of them giving in to the other. It was obvious that both of them were 16 or 17 years old, almost 1.8 meters tall, standing there, yet they were bickering like two kids. However, Soo-won also knew that it was all because of him that his two brothers were jealous of each other. How can we keep this bowl of water level? Sometimes having too many brothers is also a sweet burden. Okay, brothers, stop quarreling. Let's live in peace and friendship. Soo-won came out to act as a peacemaker, holding two scallions in his hands, looking a little humorous. How dare you say that? It's all because of you. As a punishment, you have to wash a few more garlic sprouts for me. Soo-yeon turned around and tapped her forehead with his hand, but the force was not strong. Soo-won covered his forehead and said flatteringly, "Oh yes, it's all because of me. For the next few days, I will be ready to obey my two brothers at any time. If you ask me to go east, I won't go west. Is that okay? You said so, don't complain about being tired when the time comes." Soo-yeon didn't plan to be polite with her. She would have to accompany him to take care of the restaurant's affairs. Without her, Soo-yeon was undecided about many things. He wanted Soo-won to witness and participate so that it would make things meaningful. "I promise I won't. I swear." Soo-won made a four sign and pressed it against his temple, and Soo-yeon almost believed it. But when it comes to Soo-yi, the style of the painting changes and becomes warm. "Wanwan, my studio is getting better and better. A few years ago, I met a master painter. He bought several of my paintings at high prices and often invited me to discuss painting techniques with him. Because of his frequent visits, my studio has become more and more famous in Xiangzhou City. Every day, many people come to paint portraits. The great scholar said that if you want to achieve something in the painting world, you must remain mysterious. The fewer paintings you reveal, the better. So now, I only sell 2 of my paintings every year. The rest of the time I only paint portraits." The great scholar said was right. Once a good thing becomes commonplace, it becomes worthless. So his reminder to him was the right guidance. Fifth brother. What is the name of that great scholar? Soo-won wanted to know if she had heard of it in any book. His name is Chien Jusher, and he just came back from Kyoto. Xiangzhou is his hometown. One had never heard of Mr. Chien because in the original book, it was a poet who discovered the talent of the fifth brother. He wrote poems on the fifth brother's calligraphy and paintings and spread them everywhere, which made the fifth brother's reputation spread quickly. Oh, then we'll visit him someday with some gifts. Since he is someone who helped fifth brother, we should make friends with him. The most important thing is that he gave fifth brother some advice, so he is a good person. As for me, I have already chosen a shop for the restaurant, a small 2-story building. But because I don't have much money, I borrowed 1,000 taels from Yu Yen Tang on my account, and I will pay it back slowly when the time comes. Originally, a few hundred taels of silver would be enough to open a restaurant in Qinghe County, but now he is in Xiangzhou City, a place where every inch of land is valuable and everything is expensive, including housing prices. He also studied cooking for a year at Yueman Shilo, so wouldn't it be wasted if he didn't open a better restaurant with these skills? Therefore, he borrowed 1,002 taels of silver from his account, preparing to open a respectable restaurant in Xiangzhou, cook well, and make some achievements. He has paid 1 year's rent first, and the shop has not been renovated yet. He is waiting for Soo-won to come back and make a decision with him. You too. Your sister just came back and walked such a long way, but you asked her to help you, and didn't even let her rest. Sue's mother stepped into the kitchen at some point and got angry when she saw Soo-won picking vegetables. These 2 boys are not obedient at all. I told them not to be angry, but now they are even ordering their sister around. It's okay, Mom. I volunteered. I'm not tired. I slept all the way back. I wasn't tired at all. Jongyu arranged for her was very comfortable and covered with soft blankets, allowing her to roll around in it. Soo-yeon curled his lips but did not refute. Soo-yi just lowered his head and continued to make fire, also without refutation. That won't work either. Now that conditions are good, daughters are meant to be spoiled. Won-won, be obedient. I'll take you to rest. Your uncle and his family will be here soon. Cousin Qingqing's marriage has been arranged, but she wants to wait for you to come back before holding the wedding banquet. Something happened in the workshop while you were away, but luckily your uncle was smart and avoided a big loss. Hearing that something happened in the workshop, Soo-won became anxious and looked at his mother with a confused look on his face. What's going on? Come here, I'll tell you in detail, Soo's mother waved to her. Soo-won then dropped the food, washed his hands, and followed his mother. Soo's mother told her that during the time she was away from home, a spy appeared in the family workshop. Several servants working in the workshop were bribed by outside merchants who wanted to take the formula of goat milk soap out. As a result, they were all discovered by Mangjeom and the others. Their uncle also noticed it and locked them up after catching them. He only gave them 2 steamed buns and a bowl of water a day. He didn't know what to do with them, so he waited for Soo-won to come back and make the decision. They all knew the formula for goat milk soap, so it was impossible for them to sell it, but they couldn't use it anymore. But killing them would be too cruel. Then our formula hasn't been leaked out, right? Soo-won was still quite concerned about this. No, your uncle is now strictly controlling those people's going out. Every time they go out, your uncle arranges for someone he trusts to take them out. At other times, they are not allowed to leave the house. If something like this happens, what can we do? Even if the indenture can't control their greed, what can we do? Can't we just lock them up for life? Soo's mother felt that there were disadvantages to buying people, but it was better than hiring them. At least bought people still had the right to control their personal freedom, but if they were hired, they could run away and you couldn't do anything about it. I'll think about how to deal with this matter later. Soo-won didn't know how to deal with this matter best, so he needed to think about it carefully. Okay, then go and have a rest first. I'll call you when it's time for dinner. Soo's mother sent her back to her room, where Lu Yun and Lu Ying were busy. They had come back with a lot more clothes and daily necessities. The dressing boxes were full of jewels and could no longer hold them, so the old sect leader asked someone to send over several boxes filled with rare gold, silver, and jewels. The two picked out a few boxes of Soo-won's favorite styles and placed them on the dressing table for her to choose from when she usually wears them. Soo-won thought that her aunt and cousin Qingqing would be coming over soon, so she picked out 2 boxes as gifts for them as well. She had come back from so far away and hadn't brought anything for them, so this was the only thing she could do. When it was time for dinner, my uncle and his family had already arrived. There were more than a dozen dishes on the table, all of which were big dishes and all made by Soo-yeon. As expected of him from Man Shi-lu, the dishes were all very delicate. He not only made the braised pork and spicy chicken that Soo-won liked, but also his own homemade braised pork. However, the base dish was sun-dried beans and black beans, which he steamed with a little chili powder, and the taste was surprisingly good. The pork belly is fatty, but not greasy and melts in your mouth. There is also steamed fish, which is drizzled with his own homemade soy sauce and sprinkled with chopped green onions. It is also extremely fragrant. There are also many dishes that he researched himself. Some are spicy, some are light, and the presentation is also exquisite. When the restaurant opens in the future, the main feature will be exquisiteness, so that the dishes can be sold at a high price. Wow, so exquisite. They are all my favorite dishes. Soo-won looked around and there was nothing she didn't like. Fourth brother is still stubborn. It's obviously made specially for him. This moon is full in the West Tower. It's really worth the trip. Yes, your fourth brother just talks tough, but in fact he loves you the most. Soo's mother said this deliberately, making Soo-yeon feel uncomfortable, and he continued to talk tough. TSK, no, I made these dishes because I heard that my uncle and his family were coming over. I didn't make them just for her. Even if the sky falls, Soo-yeon still has his mouth to hold it up. You're just being stubborn. You're such a grown-up, but you still act like a child. Why don't you go and serve your uncle and his family some food? Father Su couldn't stand it anymore. This darn kid had to force him to say a few words to him before he would feel comfortable. Father Su usually doesn't speak to his children. Once he does, even the eldest brother is at home and has to obey him. So, Su Yun went to scoop up the rice swiftly without even daring to fart. At the dinner table, his uncle also brought the account book of Yuyan Hall for the past 6 months. Su Yun would take a closer look at it after dinner. It contained records of various expenditures, income, and the monthly wages paid to the workers. He also talked about the major and minor events that happened in Yuyan Hall in the past 6 months. There were more and more workers, and the workshop was getting bigger and bigger. However, this big tree attracted the wind, which made many people with ulterior motives jealous. They even tried to bribe the servants of Yuyan Hall to help them steal the formula. Fortunately, he was alert and started to prevent these things early on. He arranged people he was familiar with to watch over each employee dormitory. The first few batches of servants that came in, the ones like Mengzhong and Xiaoman, were the ones who did their work honestly and could be trusted. Also, Dashu and Xiaoshu were both trustworthy. He placed them in different rooms and watched them to prevent them from having any other ideas. Sure enough, he really caught him. After the incident, he immediately called everyone out to give them a lecture. It is said that the indenture is in the hands of the boss, and you have to work for outsiders, and you can never get out of it for the rest of your life. Even if you get the silver, you will be wanted by the government. Now that we are at war, you cannot go abroad. They will catch you no matter where you are. In serious cases, you will be beaten to death. Those who were caught were all locked up in the woodshed and had to defecate and urinate in their trouser pockets. They were only given 2 cold steamed buns and a bowl of water a day, just to make sure they didn't starve to death. As a result, after seeing what happened, the others will have to behave themselves for a while. You can live a peaceful life with enough food and clothing, but if you insist on making this choice, you are asking for trouble. Su Wan treated them very well and gave them money every month. Now Mengzhong and the others have been promoted to group managers, earning 5 taels of silver a month, with many benefits and red envelopes during festivals. Could this kind of good thing only be found somewhere else? Some people have lived a comfortable life for too long and can no longer understand their own importance. Now, those rebellious servants are waiting for Su Wan to decide their fate and punish them. But Su Wan hasn't figured out what to do yet. Let her think about it. Okay, Wan just came back. Let's not talk about these unhappy things. Let's have a good meal as a family, and we can discuss those things later. Father Su just wanted his family to have a peaceful meal and not talk about business. However, she couldn't say nothing, so Su Wan told them about Jiangyu's situation so that her parents and brothers would know that she really wasn't going there to play, but had something important to help Jiangyu with. The process was quite thrilling, but Su Wan did not mention a word about the assassination on the road. Su's father and mother thought that since they were brought to meet their grandfather, these 2 children must have fallen in love with each other. How is Ayu's grandfather's health recovering now? Both Mr. and Mrs. Su are very reasonable, and they also like Jiangyu. He would be a good son-in-law. Moreover, Su Wan also said that Jiangyu's grandfather valued her very much. He is fully recovered now, but the process was extremely dangerous, and he almost died. And I have something good to tell you. Su Wan planned to tell his parents about his second brother and Linger to make them happy. What good news! Su's mother and aunt became excited when they heard it, and their gossipy spirits were burning. Dad and Mom, do you still remember Dr. Sun's granddaughter, Miss Ling? Su's father and mother looked at each other. Su Yun and Su Yi also looked at each other, and seeing Su Wan's smiling face, they seemed to sense something unusual. I remember, of course I remember. Miss Linger is beautiful, well-behaved, and polite. She is a wonderful person. Mother Su had a deep impression of son Linger. What's going on? Our second brother and her in love? Su-Yun looked at Su Wan curiously and blinked his big eyes. No, it's Miss Linger who likes our second brother, but he's a fool. He doesn't understand why the girl has taken the initiative several times. It makes me anxious, but I can see that they can succeed. Miss Linger sprained her ankle, and my second brother was very anxious. He didn't look like he was pretending. Dad and Mom, It seems that your second son's future daughter-in-law has been found. Really? That's great. When Sue's mother heard what Soo-won said, she slapped her thigh happily and smiled until her eyes narrowed into slits. Sue's father also laughed. Only Soo-yeon said something that deserved a beating. Second brother, that wooden guy, is so lucky. When Sue's father heard this, he slapped him on the head without any hesitation. Can you please speak nicely to me? Soo-yeon covered his head and said with a wronged look, it's okay, I was wrong, Dad. Soo-yi, Soo-won, and Yang Ching-ching laughed unkindly when they saw him getting beaten. Sue's mother was really happy. She laughed out loud from time to time while eating. Afterwards, everyone talked about Yang Ching-ching's marriage. Originally, it was supposed to be before the Chinese New Year, but Yang Ching-ching wanted to wait for Soo-won to come back, so it was postponed. The Yi family was not in a hurry either, and everything was up to the Yang family. Now that Soo-won is back, let's get married next month. Good things can't be delayed. After dinner, Soo-won and Yang Ching-ching talked privately together. Soo-won asked her if she got along well with Ye's son-in-law. Speaking of Yi runs, Yang Ching-ching's face turned red, and she nodded shyly. He treats me very well. Sometimes when I don't have too much schoolwork, he will buy me my favorite snacks. His father is also very good to me. Whenever he has something good or fun, I will ask him to send it to me. In short, everything is fine. Moreover, as long as he does not change his original intention towards me, I will always live a good life with him. No matter whether he can pass the imperial examination in the future, if not, we can just live a down-to-earth life like ordinary